The opposition is one that's saying vote chori, and the RJD is saying that we will take the lathis and go. Not one demand for a repoll.
No, but this is the larger problem, Tehseen, that the Congress has, that Rahul Gandhi Veera takes up some issue and those on the ground don't seem to believe as much in that issue as the leader is.
Can I say something about this? Look, again, and I'm saying this, I'm a Congress voter. I've all my life voted Congress. I've flown back from Delhi to vote Congress. This is unacceptable. You are picking up issues that don't resonate, and that's the problem. There are people who give advice, who get very angry on NDTV with data which doesn't add up. They got very angry on you, Rahul, and they tweeted you. These are the people who've let the Congress down, and you can't keep blaming them. Ultimately, the buck has to stop somewhere. It's not about you. It's not about you, Rahul. It's not about you, Rahul. It's about us. Listen, I'm 40. I want to at some point contest. If you keep doing this time and again, where does people like me go? And it is the same nepo kids who are you are attacking industry.
बोलोगे तब तो इस जन्म में क्या अगले जन्म में no ticket.
Few years of his
at some point we have
but is it good that on TV he is only 40? I just want to gently point out.
How many years have you been 40?
You're down.
I don't think he's just 40.
Oh my God!
No one tries to guess a woman's age. You shouldn't try to guess it.
That's true. I am.
He's a youth icon.
I think that kind of honesty is needed. That kind of there are three biggest states of India: UP, Bihar, Maharashtra. And what is the position of Congress there? Today is Jawaharlal Nehru's birthday. Happy Children's Day, by the way. And it's sad, isn't it? That it's sad, but at the same time, it's also sad on the Congress because the same family that continues, and this is where they are today. Like you know. Three biggest states of India, they are wiped out. How are you going to ever have a comeback like that?
And when it comes to vote chori, you will hear people say again and again in Bihar that we have literally witnessed ballots being stuffed.
No,
you know what was done, and I remember this was mentioned in Sankarshan Thakur's book also, that at a time when TN Session was cracking down and he was asking for repolls in Bihar, Lalu Yadav has been quoted as saying कि हम भैंस की तरह उस TN Session को यहाँ लाके बांध देंगे तबेले में. So that era Bihar has seen. So today you talk to them about vote chori, they take it with a bag full of salt.
There are two sides to this. Hang on. There are two sides to this. One question that was raised is that when you make vote chori as an allegation, which was supposed to be this large pan-India allegation, you make that allegation the day before Bihar goes to vote on phase 2, then obviously people tend to think that, okay, this is a political allegation. That's one side of it. But the more important aspect here is that while the quantum of it can be questioned and all those aspects are to be questioned, I think the larger objective is to turn around and say that, look, the machinery is working in one direction.
No, but
we want to try and raise
there was a way.
Rahul Gandhi makes this charge, like was the case with Rafale. The party doesn't run with it in the way that he says. So he says something on the ground, his own people don't feel the same way, Veer Sangvi.
I think that's one of the problems. If you remember that whole Chaukidar Chor Hai campaign, you can say these things, but unless your workers believe in them, and the workers believe them only if they think they'll resonate with the electorate. If they won't resonate, people won't believe it. Second is Chetan's point about intuitively people thought this was going to be the result. They're not necessarily going to believe vote chori.
Yeah.
Haryana maybe, Maharashtra maybe, where there was some element of surprise. But this one also, as Pankaj says, compared to what used to go, what used to go on in Bihar with booth capturing and the kind of stuff, this is probably a very clean election compared to the history of Bihar.
Sober election, no demands for recount. Look at what we are seeing, ladies and gentlemen. The NDA has now crossed the 150 mark, up 36 from the last time. This is pro-incumbency if ever there was. This is not in the data that is available at the moment. 20 years of what should be anti-incumbency is metamorphosing into pro-incumbency, crossing the 150 mark. C.R. Keswan of the BJP now joins us. What the Gathbandhan did or did not do is only the side story. The big story at this moment of the 229 leads that we have is that the NDA is running away with this election. It's not a close contest that some pollsters predicted yesterday and the day before. This is at this moment game, set and matched for the BJP and the JDU.
Good morning, Rahul, to everybody in the studio and your audience. These are early trends, but I think we are very confident and hopeful that the people of Bihar will deliver a historic verdict and overwhelmingly bless the NDA, because these trends are a clear reaffirmation of the trust and implicit faith in Prime Minister Modi ji's guarantee and Nitish Kumar ji's leadership of a vibrant and Viksit Bihar. As much as this is a vote for the progressive politics of performance of Prime Minister Modi ji and Nitish Kumar ji, this is also a clearly categorical vote against the regressive politics of Rahul Gandhi, who ran a campaign of slander, and smear campaign. See how his vote theft campaign has completely failed. Also, he hurt the sentiments of the people by labeling Chhat, Puja as a drama and insulting Chati Maya. And RJD, you look at it, they made, it was all about his voodoo economics and untenable promises, and the reverberating echo of Jungle Raj, which we saw on the stages of the campaign. And more importantly, the NDA was completely united like the Pandavas, and you had the Mahagathbandhan or the Mahaladbandhan where people were fighting against each other.
Mr. Keswan, Padmaja has a question for you.
C.R. Keswan, I have a slightly controversial question. Now that we are looking at the kind of gains that the NDA is making in Simanchal area, the fact that you had the Delhi blast happening just before the second phase of polling, you had a large number of people, the record number of people, men, women turning up to vote, and that was the phase in which all of Simanchal voted. Do you think there was also a sort of a fear psychosis? I'm not saying that this was targeted in that sense, but do you think that also played a role?
Usually everybody was speaking about the MY factor, the Muslim Yadav factor, but I think the Mahila youth factor has also been something which has been very decisive, and in the results here, people should remember that in the past 20 years under Nitish Kumar ji, besides the central government schemes which have made a massive impact, Drone Didi, and you saw the SHGs, the Jivika Didis, but we have to understand.
So you're saying that even in Simanchal it is not polarization, it is simply your schemes which have eventually worked.
This is transcending, this is developmental politics, it's a vote for development and not appeasement politics.
But in fact, Simanchal is the one where the RJD has some leads over the last election. I have some interesting data. From 1985, in the elections, there were 63 deaths during the election process. 156 booths saw repolling. In 1990 elections, there were 87 deaths during the elections. In 1995, when TN Sessions postponed the elections 4 times because of unprecedented violence and electoral malpractices. In 2005, there was repolling in 660 booths because of violence and malpractice. In 2025, there hasn't, Ashok Malik, been a single demand for repolling even by the opposition, and yet you've got the principal leader making the kind of charges, and there hasn't even been a demand, let alone the violence and the looting which used to happen earlier.
Clearly, elections in India, especially in Bihar, which used to be really problematic in the 80s and 90s, are way cleaner today. In terms of the updating of the electoral rolls and the SIR, the fact is this is a regular process. Now, you could well have a politician having some misgivings. You need to have a conversation with the Election Commission. It's a fair point that the Election Commission could have been more communicative. But to suggest that everything is being somehow sabotaged and compromised.
Okay, so it's not information that the RJD is not buying these results. They've just alleged, Veer, that the EC, the RJD claims, is only updating those seats where the BJP is winning.
Kanchana Yadav has said, सारे चैनलों ने अपना काउंटिंग सेंटर खोल रखा है, भाई गजब खेल चल रहा है. इधर चुनाव आयोग जहां बीजेपी आगे वहीं सीट अपडेट कर रहा है, आरजेडी की सीट अपडेट नहीं हो रही है. So the election commission, she says,
बीजेपी हर जगह आ
giving the updates for the BJP seats.
No, but there's a larger problem here, Veer. If this is the narrative that the opposition keeps throwing, it becomes in some ways, almost like the United States, where there are these two separate echo chambers that don't talk and don't listen to each other.
Do we know what percentage of those who
believe in you say, okay, all this is Godi media, all this is rubbish, we don't buy it, ECs, they stop talking across the aisle.
I agree. Of course, though, when you use the example of the United States and the completely bogus claims about vote rigging, the man who made those claims won the next election. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. However, I believe that There are criticisms of the EC which are genuine, and I think those should continue to be made. But when you lose an election, don't talk about vote chori when nobody else is, accept the verdict gracefully.
And I don't think regional parties, or not other regional parties, or even some of the regional satraps in the Congress buy entirely that vote chori is one way to win an election.
Syed Akram is with us from the RJD. Syed साहब देखिए, आप लोग इस वक्त इलेक्शन में हार रहे हैं, ये कह देना कि ईसी केवल उन्हीं सीट्स पर अपडेट कर रही है जहां आप जीत रही है, तो फेयर नहीं है ना. गठबंधन इज डाउन 34 सीट्स दिस टाइम from the last elections. The RJD is at 59. You yourself are down 13 from the last time. The Congress at 11 leads, down 8. Now this kind of rhetoric is very disturbing कि इसी केवल वहीं पे अपडेट करी. भाई 300 243 सीटों सब पे नतीजे आएंगे. इस तरह के आरोप लगाने से आप वोटर्स के जहन में कंफ्यूजन पैदा करते हैं, which is not fair, I think.
No, we don't have that data.
नहीं, वोटर के जहन में कोई कंफ्यूजन क्रिएट नहीं किया जा रहा है, और अभी कहना बहुत अर्ली होगा. मैं आपको आश्वस्त करना चाहूंगा कि थोड़ी देर और इंतजार करें. ये सारे इनके जो अभी इनकी जो बढ़त दिख रही है वो फौरन रुक जाएगी, आपको यकीन होगा, क्योंकि जिस तरह से वोट किया गया है और वोट महागठबंधन को हुआ है, युवा, महिलाएं और बेरोजगार पलायन के विरुद्ध तमाम तरीके के जो है शिक्षा और स्वास्थ्य के लिए बिहार में वोट हुआ है, लॉ एंड ऑर्डर के लिए बिहार में वोट किया गया है, तो वोट हमारे फेवर में हुआ है. तो वोट जाहिर सा बात है कि कितना देर कर ले, वोट हमारे सामने आएगा, हमारा वोट आएगा और हम सरकार बनाने.
पर सैयद अकरम साहब, मेरे को ये लॉजिक समझ में नहीं आया जो आपने कहा है कि हमारी सीट्स को अपडेट नहीं किया जा रहा है. आपकी सीट्स में रुझान आ रहे हैं,
आपको
आपके भी तो ट्रेंड्स दिख रहे हैं कि आप लीड कर रहे हैं. अगर मैं
पिछले चुनाव में सुन लीजिए मैडम, 2015 में 11 बजे तक भारतीय जनता पार्टी के कार्यालय में लड्डुएं बट रही थीं, और उसके बाद एकाएक करके खामोशी छाई और धाराशाही हो गई उनकी बढ़त. तो अभी रुझान है, अभी आप भी देख रहे हैं, हम भी देख रहे हैं, लेकिन थोड़ी देर
बहुत अच्छी बात है. आपको भगवान करे आप भी जीत के बहुत करीब है. बट आई एम जस्ट ट्राइंग टू अंडरस्टैंड योर लॉजिक व्हेन यू से दैट हमारी सीट्स को, हमारी लीड्स को अपडेट नहीं किया जा रहा है, बिकॉज आई एम लिटरली लुकिंग एट द इलेक्शन कमीशन वेबसाइट एंड दे आर शोइंग लीड्स फॉर द आरजेडी एज वेल, दे आर शोइंग लीड्स फॉर द कांग्रेस पार्टी एज वेल, दे आर शोइंग लीड्स फॉर द सीपीआई-एमएल एज वेल. सो ऑन व्हाट बेसिस आर यू सेइंग कि हमारी लीड्स को नहीं दिखाया जा रहा है, सिर्फ बीजेपी की लीड्स को दिखाया जा रहा है? व्हाट इज द लॉजिक बिहाइंड दिस क्लेम?
नहीं, हमारे पास भी कंट्रोल रूम है, हमारे भी नजर स्ट्रांग रूम पर है, हमारे भी जो अंदर से खबरें आ रही है वो दिखाई जाती है.
What is this control room?
वो हम भी
Just one second. There's some vanity always in the strike rate. Just think of it, if you follow cricket analytics as most of us do, this is like the strike rate of a batsman. So let's look at the strike rate of the parties. The strike rate of the party currently has BJP at 79%, JDU at 68%, RJD at 40%. So that's the strike rate of the parties that we have leads for currently. NDA at 159, up 40 from the last time. Jemrig, this is a saffron sweep in the data that is available at the moment.
Absolutely, it's a sweep. It has left out some pocket here, the Malay belt, a little bit pocket here, the Kishanganj Seemanchal belt, and a little bit of Mithilanchal. The rest, the NDA has taken. It's more or less very clear.
Up 40 seats from the last time, you know.
Absolutely.
This is a silent wave. If this is how the trend solidifies, what we've seen, ladies and gentlemen, is a silent wave. The JDU is the big winner because they were in the last election, because of Chirag Paswan eating into their votes, their seat tally came down. 69 leads for the JDU. BJP at 79, likely to emerge potentially. Let's take a look at which the single largest party is likely to be. BJP at 79, JDU at 70, RJD at the moment at number 3 and 59.
Absolutely. So we are estimating 80-81 odd of the remaining 6-7 seats. So I'm estimating 80-81 odd for the BJP, about 69 for the JDU, about 62 for the RJD. The big losers, the unknown loser who's actually contributing to the NDA is the CPI-ML. It was double-digit 10, it's down to 3 this time. So that's the unknown loser, you know, sort of poor vote actually going to the NDA. The dole might have worked.
No, but this, Veer Sanghvi, from the data that we have available, seems to have been a silent tsunami. Usually, if there is a wave of this nature, you see it very clearly. It was a very silent, quiet election, but firmly, voters seem to have put their faith in the NDA BJP at 79, the JDU at 70, they've already crossed 147.
Yeah. I think actually the BJP number is significant, and I suppose we'll talk about that in the evening. In the post-Nitish scenario, what role will the BJP play? And if it's got its own strength and it's managed to do this on its own, it's a portent of what lies ahead.
Okay, I want to show you now for the first time, and this is where the leaderboard really comes into action.
Yeah.
On the seats where there's a direct fight between the JDU and the RJD, where either the JDU candidate or the RJD candidate are 1 and 2, there you've got the JDU with a 55.7% strike rate versus 41% strike rate for the RJD. These are the 61 seats at this moment where it's 1 and 2 between the JDU and the RJD. Between the JDU and the Congress, there are 24 seats at the moment where it's 1 and 2 JDU Congress. JDU with a much better strike rate against the Congress, 79.2 versus 8.3. If I look at BJP versus the Congress at this moment, there are 31 seats where it's 1 and 2 BJP Congress. There, the BJP, as is often the case, with a 71% strike rate against the Congress is 22.6. On seats where it's BJP versus RJD, 51 such seats, 68.6% strike rate for the BJP versus 29% for the RJD. Here again, the BJP Jaimrik doing quite well. Strike rate consistently high.
Consistently high. See, even in 2010, they had an 89% strike rate. Currently, they are approaching a strike rate of about 80%, which is the highest among all the political parties in Bihar in this election.
Okay, Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi, senior leader of the BJP, is speaking at this time. Let's listen to Mukhtar Naqvi.
देखो एक चीज़ मैं बताऊं, ये जो है वो धूर्तापूर्ण जो है धमाल और कमाल करने वाले धूल धूसित होते हैं। अब आप जो है वो जनतंत्र के या जनादेश के को स्वीकार करने के बजाय उस पर जो है वो हाहाकार करेंगे, हंगामा करेंगे, हुड़दंग करेंगे, और आपकी अपेक्षा होगी कि हमें जो है वो जनादेश जनता हमें दे, तो मुझे नहीं लगता कि ये जो है वो कभी भी जो है वो देश स्वीकार करता है। अरे भाई, जीत और हार दोनों एक सिक्के, मैंने कहा ना कि जीत का की जलेबी हो या हार का हलवा हो, दोनों जो है वो जनतंत्र का जायका है। आपको तो चाहिए कि केवल जो है वो हमें जीत चाहिए, जीत हमारा जन्मसिद्ध अधिकार है, ऐसा नहीं होता।
लेकिन सर, आरजेडी के जो सुनील सिंह है वो कहते हैं कि अगर बिहार में एनडीए जीतती है तो नेपाल या बांग्लादेश जैसा हाल बिहार का हो जाएगा।
देखिए, एक बात समझ लीजिए, आपकी वायलेंट एनार्की से वाइब्रेंट डेमोक्रेसी को आप हाईजेक नहीं कर सकते, उसको आप ध्वस्त नहीं कर सकते। अराजकता और उद्दंडता के जरिए जो है वो लोकतंत्र और जनतंत्र को कोई भी बंधक नहीं बना सकता। इस गलतफहमी से बाहर निकलना होगा।
Abbas Naqvi is known for his tukbandi, and it's always jeet ki jalebi or haar ka halwa. He says both have to be as acceptable. But a very interesting thing that Rahul actually pointed out, I think, on this leaderboard was the JDU versus Congress, the seats where the Congress is fighting parties like the JDU and the BJP, Rahul. And Jay, if you can reflect on this, this has been the grouse of the Congress throughout. There were 72 seats they had identified and said, listen, these are the strong seats, we want a share of the better seats. From these results, it seems that this time as well, look at their strike rate. It is abysmal against the JDU, against the BJP, it's only a shade better. Again, the Congress would be right in saying that they really got a raw deal in terms of the seats that they were given this time around as well.
No, I think we need to understand the phenomena which happens in seat bargaining. The Congress typically now, it's got about an independent established vote share of 6 to 8% in Bihar, not more. You go to the southern states, they, the regional allies are very strong. They make them eat humble pie. They're given some 15% seats to contest, and then they have a good strike rate because the alliance as well performs well. What happens here is the Congress gets into an aggressive bargain. A lot of absolutely unwinnable seats are also given to the Congress. So you want 70? Oh, take these. You want 60?
But that's the argument, right? Like, look, Rahul Gandhi has taken out a vote adhikar yatra. Circumstances are different. This is not 2020. 2024 has shown that Congress is now rejuvenated, or so they claim. They wanted better seats, but clearly they haven't got the kind of seats, and that reflects in the result.
Not just the type of seats, even the campaign. How consistent
Behind.
was Mr. Gandhi's yatra? I mean, where was he? Where did he disappear after the yatra? Where was he? When did he? Why did he come back so late to campaign?
No, and more importantly, since we were talking about how the cadre, the Congress cadre did not buy into Rahul Gandhi's slogan, the RJD didn't buy into Rahul Gandhi's slogan. After the Vote Adhikar Yatra, there was only one joint rally that was held by Rahul Gandhi and Tejashwi together, and even there Rahul Gandhi got on stage and in Tejashwi's presence said कि प्रधानमंत्री जो है स्टेज पर आकर के वोट के लिए नाचेंगे, and he made that comment about Chhat, which basically the RJD thought is going to boomerang on them, and that's it. That was the last rally. No joint rally after that.
The one thing Rahul Gandhi is extremely consistent about, which is being inconsistent. So many within the Congress themselves were asking, why was he missing for such a large part of the campaign? Where is he now? BJP, Amit Malviya, I think, tweeted to say, how is he gone missing again? Now, till he can solve for that, answer that credibly to his cadre and outside, you have a real challenge on your hands.
Yeah, I mean, just imagine the scenario if the BJP was losing like the way the Congress has been losing. There would be changes. Heads would roll, talks would come, maybe we need to replace this, that. Whereas in the Congress, I'm not saying we should change the face, but there is not as much reform. There's just no, it's always people defending them. It's a really nice Congress spokesperson comes and defends them. It's a tough job. But like Tehseen was saying, there needs to be some real change. Rahul Gandhi's, would it have changed the results if he had done 50 more rallies? I doubt it.
But he has to fight harder. Veer Sanghvi, what do you think this may potentially mean for the direction of Indian politics building up to the 2029 general election? But three big elections have happened: Haryana, Maharashtra and now Bihar, if I leave Jharkhand and Jammu and Kashmir aside, all of which seem to have been big victories for the BJP, either by itself or in alliance. What does this suggest about the trend of Indian politics at the moment?
Well, it suggests, first of all, that all the things people said after the general election haven't been borne out. There was a suggestion that the BJP was on a downward spiral and it was barely managing to hold on. That's clearly not true. If these results are accurate and hold, the BJP continues to be popular. If there is hope for the Congress, it's in some of the qualitative analysis which suggests that young people are getting disenchanted with the BJP, which you saw in some of the Bihar polls and you've seen in some of the other polls. If they can build on that, there is a future. But otherwise, I mean, the whole argument of incumbency and how people will get fed up, Nitish has just destroyed that. If after 20 years people are not fed up of Nitish, then why should they be fed up at the center?
No, and maybe 20 years later, after he's been PM for 20 years, Ashok Malik, this would be a question again. Will there be a similar pro-incumbency, a silent wave in 2029? That is what the BJP will hope for, because this result shows it's a silent wave in favor of the NDA. And this is for a candidate who clearly wasn't at the peak of his game. His physical capacity, mental ability, both diminished. And look at how, despite that, voters have backed him.
Look, there are two things here. If you just look, it's also a pivotal moment if these numbers hold, with the BJP emerging as the single largest party. That also is a pivotal moment and a moment of transition for Bihar. The BJP, remember, used to be a party strong in the old South Bihar, which became Jharkhand. It was weak in North Bihar. If it's moving into this sort of a trajectory, along with, of course, Nitish's continued popularity, it indicates that it's not just Mr. Modi's personality, which is, of course, larger than life. It's also the BJP's organizational strength in the Modi-Shah era, which is a problem for the opposition. And that is a long-term challenge. It's not that, one day Modi will retire and I will start winning elections again. That's not going to happen.
That's what they're clearly hoping for.
That might not happen.
Tendulkar is no longer there. The other Indian batsmen will deal with them. Shubhrashtra joins us. She's smiling. As big trend in favor of the NDA at this moment. 156 leads versus 82 to the Gathbandhan. The NDA seems to be running away with this election, Shubhrashtra.
Yes, and I don't think it surprises any one of us, because most of the polls suggested so, conversations and chatter on the ground suggested so. But it's still early. I would still hold myself and not.
Tehseen has this gamcha on his head
I'm trying to
where are you going with the gamcha on the head? What's up here?
No, trying to see what.
trying to wear it.
I've given up on.
तब से वो गमछे को बांधने की कोशिश कर रहा
I've
है.
given up on trying to see how the.
टिकट तो मिल नहीं रही, गमछा ही बांध लेता.
You know, just like सम्राट चौधरी had vowed कि मैं अपना मुरेठा तब तक नहीं उतारूंगा जब तक नीतीश को हटा नहीं दूंगा. Are you also going to tie a मुरेठा कि मैं कांग्रेस से किसी को हटाने के बाद ही ये मुरेठा उतारूंगा?
There are more chances of Samrat Chaudhary becoming chief minister than currently the opposition winning an election, and I'm serious about that, and that's sad because post 2020, when suddenly everybody felt that the opposition is doing so well, we've lost Haryana, we've lost Maharashtra, and now we are on the verge of losing Bihar. This was an election we should have won, not an election we should have lost. And once again, you see, this is what happens. We fought this on the wrong issues, and now I hope it doesn't become about EVMs, about blaming the public. I just hope it doesn't become. I think we should be mature and see where we are going wrong.
You know, by the way, since you're talking about the zeal with which you fight an election, so much was said about Nitish Kumar being unwell, not being of sound mind. I was looking at data a week ago of a comparison between the kind of rallies and roadshows. Of course, the top was BJP, where the Prime Minister did some 16 rallies plus roadshow. Rally roadshow put together. Then there was Nitish Kumar. Nitish Kumar also managed to do 100 plus. In the Congress, Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi and Khadge ji all put together did close to only 18. 18. I'll give you a personal example. When I had travelled to Gaya. Now Gaya is a seat where there is genuine anti-incumbency against the sitting MLA. I think he's been there for about
8 times.
8 times he's been there, and people are genuinely angry. You know, even people who are saying कि हम संघ के हैं, पर ये तो सुनील कुमार, right?
Prem Kumar,
sorry. पर प्रेम कुमार जी आते ही नहीं है यहाँ पे. Rahul Gandhi's rally was scheduled there on the same day as JP Nadda's roadshow. JP Nadda came there, spent an hour and a half doing a roadshow. I then went to the Rahul Gandhi venue. They had put up the whole setup. The candidate was there. Rahul Gandhi didn't turn up.
Not
he
at all.
He didn't turn up.
Not at all.
No, he didn't.
Not even late. He
No, he didn't turn up. And I spoke to the candidate and I said कि आपका क्या हुआ? He said कोई बात नहीं, बस नाम ही काफी है. अब राहुल जी आने वाले थे, उसी खुशी में लोग हमें वोट. What will that guy think? He put up the whole pandal. He had set up for a rally. Rahul Gandhi didn't turn up. And now if you're going to say that despite anti-incumbency, I'll be interested to see which way this seat votes. If the BJP wins this seat, who are you going to blame? You're going to blame vote chori or you're going to blame a no-show?
The BJP through this campaign was conveying a sense that they had it under control. I'll tell our viewers one story. On the day that we had the power play in Bihar, one of the senior most BJP leaders went off to sleep. There was a cyclonic disturbance, his rallies got cancelled, so his chopper didn't take off. He slept for an hour and a half. He came to our program and he said, I haven't slept during the day since the time I was unwell, and I managed to sleep right now. And I figured at that moment, boss, he thinks he's winning. That's the only reason he's sleeping. If he wasn't winning, he would be working the phones, Ashok Malik, making people's life miserable. Idhar jao, aisa karo, waisa karo. He thought he was winning, which is why they had this quiet air of confidence. And now we see in the numbers why they were exuding that quiet air of confidence.
Look, if these numbers certainly hold, then, like in Haryana, like in Maharashtra, the BJP has allowed speculation in the media to run its course and quietly done its coalition building at the grassroots.
No, but unlike Haryana, this time the narrative in Haryana, the narrative was they're losing and they won despite that. In Bihar, the narrative was quite clear that they seem to be comfortably placed. But Veer Sanghvi, the question is, if the opposition can't beat the NDA, when you've been in power for 20 years, when the chief minister isn't at the peak of his game, you've got a young candidate who's apparently raring to go. When will this opposition beat this NDA and this Modi government?
Well, Bihar is a slightly different case because I think a lot of people will attribute this victory to Nitish. Yeah. Will it be the same after Nitish goes? Also, when we talk about the opposition as a monolith, it's not a monolith. There's the Congress, which we've talked about, and there's Tejashwi in what he's doing. Post Nitish, he may actually be in a stronger position. We'll have to wait and see.
Rahul, There are two aspects, and I slightly disagree with what Veer is saying, and the reason is, you look at Haryana and you look at Maharashtra, and you see the weak link has been, in Haryana it was only the Congress versus the BJP. In Maharashtra, the Congress made wrong choices by going with the Shiv Sena. In Bihar, again the choice was wrong by letting down Tejashwi, because Tejashwi's strike rate is much better. So it is the same political party making a mistake. Now I'm asking this as a layman support of the party. Who takes responsibility? You've lost 2024, you lost Haryana, you lost Maharashtra, now you've lost Bihar. Who's responsible for these losses? I'm not even saying Rahul Gandhi. Is the party president responsible? Is the general secretary organization responsible? Is the social media responsible? Who is the person distributing the ticket? The same people who distributed the ticket in Punjab, distributed the ticket in Delhi, distributed the ticket in Haryana, distributed the ticket in Bihar. They're the same people who then make these analysis of the Congress of what go wrong. They're the same people who sit on these committees. They're the same people who again distribute the thing. Now, just 2 minutes. Maharashtra, the allegation is Congress, there was vote chori. Yet the entire campaign of vote chori was outsourced to
You're doing a Mausi to the, the Sholay ki Mausi to the...
I am upset because this is Mausi.
I'm on your side.
But I want you to win.
ऐसे तो boss ticket
I want, but why is
coming to NDTV in the hope that you'll get a ticket? It's not going to work.
Yeah, you've been with Congress, sort of Congress, what,
I'm
20 years?
supporting them. Yeah, for all my life I voted for them.
Yeah, but like turning up on television, representing about 20 years?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, can I just ask you what Padmaja would say? Where does the buck stop? I mean, you should know the answers much as anyone else.
At some point stop with this. If not anyone else, at least with the party president should answer what is going on.
Kharge now, you're saying?
I'm saying whoever's constitutionally in charge, if not Rahul Gandhi, at least the party
Why,
president.
if not Rahul Gandhi? Why are you stopping at Kharge?
Because he's
using your MP ticket
no,
without doubt.
No, it doesn't matter whether it's Mr. Gandhi or is the party president or is the general secretary organization. At some point, I need to know who's responsible. We are losing.
You're an insider. You would know.
I don't know. I'm not an insider.
No. See, you are right that okay, Nitish is a brand, but this is one state which is a very high percentage of Muslim population, right?
Yeah.
This is the one. This was the easiest to win actually.
Sorry?
If you can't win here, in terms of proportion of Muslims as part of Bihar's population is much higher than other parts of India.
I thought it would be Haryana.
No,
in my opinion.
I thought so too.
But it's in the higher than average. Compared
But
to
it's also, Chetan, about the caste configuration. See, with the EBCs that Nitish brings, the upper caste, you've got the Paswan party there. It's a very, very formidable combination.
If there is a great story, if there is a great wave, all these caste things are forgotten. Everything is forgotten. If there's a great face,
Yes, Shubhrashtra.
Bihar doesn't forget caste. There is an ideas market which is always bubbling in intellectual caucuses. But beyond that, when it comes to electoral dynamics and electoral conversations, it is supremely caste dominated. But having said that, I want to come back to the Congress question. Not because I love to bash the Rahul Gandhi Priyanka Vadra Congress.
Which you do.
Which I do, which I love to do, and I'll continue to do till they have somebody like maybe Tehsin taking over.
I was about to prompt.
The thing is, I do not understand what is wrong with that party. That party actually ruled Bihar for a really long time. They had a whole sway in North Bihar, in South Bihar, even in some pockets of Central Bihar, from where JP movement etc. started. Still, it does not have a solid narrative on Bihar. You ask one congressman, what is it that they wanted Biharis to vote on? Vote chori alone cannot be the narrative, because vote chori is a national narrative. What is the local narrative what is the aspirational Bihar that they are selling to the youngsters? Janata Party, ever since Janata Party came to power, Congress was completely ousted out, and it has never even tried to come back the way it should. All the old guards are gone, and where are the new guns? You have a Shakti Yadav who actually was a congressman for the longest time. And he is in the RJD. A very strong leader there.
We have the vote share percentages of different parties on your screen right now. Of the votes that have been counted so far, the BJP leads with about 30% of the vote, the RJD with 22.9% of the vote, the Janata Dal United with 13.3% of the vote, the Congress with 8.8% of the vote, which has been counted so far. Of course, you need to wait for a few more rounds for this to stabilize, but the BJP of the party seems to have upped its vote share the most.
Yeah. it has upped its vote share substantially. The JDU, I think we'll wait for this to stabilize. I'm expecting the JDU's vote share also.
As I said, this is just very, very initial, and therefore you'll have to wait for a while.
Give some headline from the Election Commission side. So as per the Election Commission, now formally the NDA has crossed into a majority. It's at 127 as per the Election Commission. So more like, for the opposition leaders. BJP is at 58, the JDU at 50, Paswan's party at 15 and Ham at 4, 127. Most interestingly, as per the Election Commission, JSP is leading in none. One more surprising thing, as per the Election Commission, Pushpam Priya Chaudhary's party is leading in one seat.
I was just thinking,
last time the contest, Pushpam Priya Chaudhary, her party
She's the one with the mask.
Yeah.
In black clothes. She's always in black clothes.
What's with that mask?
With JSP.
No idea. And
That girl also stuck to the
to her plurals
I
party.
think this is her what? This is a second
second
election.
term.
Second election.
Yeah, but just because she did not,
I thought it was
she's
the
not,
third.
whatever.
I thought
Let
she
me
got
not
15.
comment on it further.
No, and it's her party, but the candidate is a gentleman called Satya Prakash from a seat called Sandesh.
Okay, I want to show our viewers what's happening on the Muslim and Yadav dominated seats of Uttar Pradesh, of Bihar. 160 such of the seats that we have, which are Muslim and Yadav dominated. I'll try and take you through what's happened. Of the 84 such seats, the NDA currently leading on 53, 63% of the seats which have been classified by C voter as being Muslim and Yadav dominated. The NDA surprisingly is currently in the lead. The Gathbandhan leading on only 30 out of 84. In their core bastions, they don't seem to be doing as well as they would have liked. Whereas if, for example, you take the seats that are upper caste dominated, where you would expect the BJP, JDU to do well, they have almost a 69% strike rate, leading on 44 of the 64 such seats. The Gathbandhan leading on only 18 of the 63 such seats. On the Kurmi and Kori seats, which is the core bastion of Nitish Kumar, 65.7% strike rate for the NDA versus 22. So they're being bested everywhere, Jayamrig. It's not just in the upper caste dominated seats, even in the Muslim Yadav seats, you've got the NDA currently leading. This is building up to be a big victory.
Big victory. It's a story of a counter-polarization to the polarization brought in by the MG. So the counter-polarization as well as the doles even sucking out the last marginal vote from there is created.
And so much was said about the Nishad party, the son of Malla, Vikashsheel Insan party, Mukesh Saini, on the 23 seats classified as being
Nishad
dominated by the Nishad, the fishermen folk, the three communities that make up the fishermen folk. 61% of the seats are going towards the NDA versus 36% going towards the Gathbandhan. So that idea of adding to the Muslim Yadav coalition doesn't seem to have come through in terms of seat share.
No, and it was not a homogeneous coalition of castes. There were 4 sub-caste groups there. Turahas, Mallahas, Nishads and Kevats. Not all have equally voted in one direction.
The one place where there's a much closer contest is amongst the Muslim dominated seats, which the Gathbandhan should really have swept away. Far from, the NDA currently leading on 19 of the 39 Muslim dominated seats with a 49%.
Isn't that wild? Isn't that crazy? Isn't that like absolutely
the Muslim votes then gets fragmented versus the Hindu candidate who's able to polarize the Hindu vote. That's how they go through in a first past the post.
I mean, but then why can't they do the same? At least these places, this is where you need, this is like
on seats they couldn't even decide
I'll tell you the reason
who to put up as a candidate, so forget strategizing. They couldn't even get that.
Wait, I'll tell you what is this. You have all the 24 leads in Simachal. In that, the NDA is 11, the MGB is 11, others are 2 of which one is AIMM and one could be maybe JSP or somebody else.
The one seat.
But Simachal is also
to say that
a draw.
Simachal even
It's a
last
draw.
time around, Simachal even last time around
Was a draw.
24 seats, 8
12
were
was
with
NDA.
the BJP,
Yeah.
4 were with the JDU,
Correct.
and 5 were with Asaduddin Owaisi, and which is why you had the Mahagathbandhan only at 3 to 4 seats.
So that
is what the breakup was.
which means
the,
OAC's got again 6-7% vote here. That's why the Mahagathbandhan.
but he's got only one seat, lead of only one seat.
Look at the Mahagathbandhan's tally is not improving because in half the seats the NDA has polarized the Hindu vote.
Yeah.
Simple.
And also look at what's happening in the Paswan dominated seats.
Correct.
This is Chirag Paswan's, they're very concentrated, the Paswans, and therefore the moment the LJP fights with the BJP and the JDU, you see a whopping 82% strike rate on the 44 Paswan dominated seats. The NDA currently leading on 36 of them versus the Gathbandhan leading on 7 with a strike rate of only 16. So massive consolidation on the Paswan dominated seats. If I look at the larger OBC seats, the larger backward caste seats, the NDA with a 63% strike rate versus a 36% strike rate. So this is, you go community by community through the caste cauldron of Bihar, Veer Sangvi. You've got the NDA at the moment leading in all communities.
What about the Yadavs? What about the Yadavs? Purely Yadav seats?
If I look at just the Yadav dominated seats, which is what Padmika is asking for here as well, out of 3 seats, 2
It's a consolidation of everybody apart. The story is, wherever the NGB comes up with a very identity-based coalition, the NDA seems to have built a rainbow to counter it. So they not only have a fair share of those, they also have a large share of the others.
You are saying caste is everything in Bihar now. What is happening here?
Caste is everything.
Muslim Yadav versus Yadav versus.
You know, I think what was important.
Coming through and Bihar giving Nitish Kumar that bouquet as a final.
That's true.
And
So therefore,
Rashtriya, I think, makes
caste
a
can be
very
overcome.
important point.
For some reason, in certain cases, caste can be overcome.
Caste coalition versus caste coalition.
You give the right personality, you give the right star. You know, like the biggest movie stars in this country are Muslim.
Yeah.
Right? Does anyone even think like that? No, because if you have a persona, if you have a personality, you can get past these things.
No, but this is, as Shubhrashtra was saying, Bihar saying thank you, Nitish.
Yeah.
Veer Sangvi, no matter what
Welcome
anyone
Nitish,
watching
thank you.
this
They could have
broadcast
welcomed
may
someone
think,
also, no.
your
They're
own
saying thank
biases
you.
aside, with this kind of a mandate, 162 leads for the NDA, this is the people of Bihar saying thank you to a leader they've held in high esteem for the last 3 decades.
We are into the third round of counting now.
But also,
Easily.
judging by how well the BJP has done, also a vote of confidence in the centre. I mean, let's not make
It's
this
that
vote-
double engine. No,
Yeah, I
absolutely.
mean, it's both of those things.
The
Also, I
heinous
think
factor.
Shubhrashtra said day before yesterday, when we talked about the women's vote, that everybody in Bihar has many identities. Gender is one of them. Often caste is more important. And caste, as we've seen, is important not just in how people vote, but how they unite against dominant caste in constituencies. So in a sense, this bears out what you said.
Also, I think in women vote, I would still say they are very secular and beyond caste in more than one ways.
Yeah.
But when it comes to coalitions like this, when you have a BJP and a JDU together, then the entire narrative against the RJD comes up with a formidable caste combination that Nitish always dreamt of building. Gets the OBCs beyond Yadavs together. And BJP made a huge inroad into the Yadav constituency by making the state president a Yadav state president, and all those experiments went on. And of course, getting the EBCs together. What is also should be accounted for here is how EBCs are actually backing Nitish to a great extent.
You know, we have, on the day that we were doing the exit polls, Rahul, I can't remember who, but somebody said, it's not what you give me, it's not what you tell me, it's about the way you make me feel. And I think that really is the larger picture. It's about how Nitish, and on that day
Pradeep Gupta
itself,
said
I had
that.
said,
Pradeep Gupta said that.
Pradeep Gupta. It's the way he makes the women of Bihar feel. At the end of the day, you know, we kept saying that Jangal Raj does not matter, Jangal Raj does not matter. It matters. It's as strange as saying, I don't know whether I'll be injured if a train hits me because I haven't been hit by a train. But I know that it's dangerous to be hit by a train, so I'm always wary of it. These things carry down the generation.
Shiv, at 162 out of 243, this is a landslide victory for the National Democratic Alliance.
I come bearing good news, Rahul, first of all, because I've been watching all of you geek out on these numbers for the last couple of hours. And I know from past experience that I'd still like to wait. You guys know way more than me, but I come bearing good news because results on NDTV is the top trend right now.
Oh, wow.
Across social media.
You made the day.
Okay, and that means that all of the granularities, the leaderboard, all the data that we're talking about, every little piece of analysis is being watched, it's being dissected, it's being processed by a large part of this country. And I have to tell you, Rahul, I represent that part of the country. You guys are sitting here punching each other up with the numbers, decoding all of that, and people are watching with awe and fascination as you're talking about all of that. And I think that's an affirmation, and I think it's important for everyone here to acknowledge that results with NDTV really means.
I love the
Rahul and team.
I love
Well done
the
to
top
everyone
bands
and
that
to all of
Let's
you.
raise a glass of sattu to that.
Yeah, glass of sattu. I have one here.
She put out an interesting header this morning. It's a litmus test. It's a litmus test for Bihar. It's a litmus test for the channels as well. On that very happy note, I want to look for the chai stop. Where is that chai stop? Because we've been talking, everybody's been talking non-stop. And therefore, the fact also after 2 decades, if Nitish Kumar Jaimrik can deliver this kind of a verdict in this state, you know, it's saying a lot about the psyche of the people of Bihar. Unlike a Rajasthan where they're constantly yearning to turn the roti over, here they're content. They like what they've got. It's a poor, impoverished state. We saw a lot of poverty as we traveled, and yet they're okay. They want the guy back.
On a more philosophical note, I think Maharashtra and Bihar illustrate that if you have beneficiaries' participatory engagement in a democracy, you're going to produce different type of mandates, and I think that's happening in Bihar. As per the Election Commission, we are looking at something like a 73% majority. This is a 2/3 majority.
This is a good time as any to call the chai stop in the NDTV chai stop. Lot of people messaging saying, you know, they want to stop by this chai stop as well. That's at the NDTV studio. Of course, you can swing by. We're very happy to have you here, and some delicious litti. But you know, when you've got Veer Sanghvi sitting there, I feel very scared, intimidated about saying anything about food, lest it come across as being completely imbecile. It's like
there were a couple of messages saying exactly that. Is Veer enjoying the food?
I was really enjoying it. It was very good, I have to say.
Veer, please talk about the romanticization of litti also, and how things like tarua and arikanchan, etc., get completely lost in.
I told you yesterday that people in Bihar get very irritated.
This is why you should.
I told you.
Subrasha, this is why you should watch yesterday's episode of Chai Stop on NDTV, where this became a very heated point of debate.
I was representing exactly this point of view that a lot of people in Bihar kept saying, हम तो घर में लिट्टी नहीं बनाते, ये बाहर के लोग आकर के लिट्टी चोखा करते रहते हैं.
So what would you want us to eat then?
Look,
I would want you to eat.
Whoever wants to grab some litti and chokha, and there's some.
Or a maghi.
आपके पास दही चूड़ा भी है ना? So there are multiple options. There are multiple options. It's a good time as any to sit back.
And before we close, we just update the viewers on Election Commission's vote share. As per the Election Commission, the vote share of NDA is adding up to 48.4%. Okay,
wow. That's a landslide. It's not a tight fight as some polls show. I'm sorry, will not have much of a chance to dance this morning. It's not a small victory. It's a landslide in favor. I saw Shiv. You were also rolling up some littis. We were trying to make them yourself. I saw Veera and Padmaja were trying to do this.
That's true.
Veera was actually really good at it, Padmaja also, but I came a close third, and for someone who hasn't travelled to Bihar, thanks to you, Rahul, this time, I think I did a pretty good
but
job.
given what Prime Minister Modi, the Home Minister and Rajnath Singh have said about Pakistan, we come for you, we come for the perpetrator, Shiv has his bag packed.
I couldn't move from here.
Shiv has his bag packed. He's bringing a bag, Padmaja, to office every morning in the hope कि मेरा नंबर अब आएगा, Padmaja आप बैठो ऑफिस में, here I go.
I never unpacked my Bihar bag, by the way. So my Bihar bag is still packed.
No mediocre food here.
No mediocre.
None whatsoever.
No, so ये जो बोल रहे हैं कि लिट्टी इज ओवररेटेड, आपको ये लगता है कि ये बार बार लिट्टी के ऊपर फोकस आता है और ये बिहार के लोग बोल रहे हैं कि भाई आपने लिट्टी को ज्यादा फेमस कर दिया, बाकी जो बिहार का खाना है उसको उस तरह की तवज्जो नहीं मिलती है?
तवज्जो मिल रही है, धीरे धीरे थोड़ा टाइम लग रहा है. पिट्ठा भी आ रहा है, सत्तू पराठा भी आ रहा है, सत्तू शरबत भी आ रहा है, तो थोड़ा सा वक्त लगेगा. लेकिन लिट्टी क्या है कि इतना ऊंचे लेवल पे पहुंचेगा तो थोड़ा सा नीचे आने में तो दिक्कत हो रही है बाकी लोगों को.
आप और क्या सर्व करते हो? मतलब आपके
सर मेरा पूरा बिहार क्यूजिन है, सत्तू पराठा, लिट्टी चोखा,
दही चूड़ा.
Also shift the pride in the food. You know, unlike earlier, where because you're not thinking it's not very fancy cuisine, so you're not really looking up to it. Now the pride with which it's served, the pride also with which it's eaten.
It's so much a part of behavior. It's so much a part of culture in Bihar. By the way, confession, I've been to Bihar only once in my life. It was my first journalistic assignment. When I was a newspaper cub reporter, I was sent to Bihar, and I still remember, this was 22 years ago, and I still remember that the hospitality with which people serve you, the pride with which food comes out when you visit homes. Padmaja and I were exchanging notes about this. Is just incredible. It's one thing that I really took away from Bihar.
Shubhrashtra has to eat the litti chokha and then tell us whether it's authentic,
No,
not authentic.
Shubhrashtra is eating dahi chura.
She's like, this is overhyped. I'm not eating this.
Litti brigade.
She's like,
Yes, I'm totally anti-litti.
why are you anti-litti?
They're polarized here.
Anti-litti, no, personal preference, I'm not very fond of litti. I love the probiotic early in the morning.
Is it because it's considered a very
plebeian food?
I'm just told, Rahul.
food here? Because in Bombay they consider vada pav a plebeian.
I'm just told that we're number one on the digital live stream right now on NDTV 24/7. I want to show you that data right now. This is something
This is one of the
that
best things you can have.
is a complete validation and an affirmation of what NDTV 24/7 election coverage is. Rahul, number one on YouTube at this point of time.
It's a sweet dish.
Viewers in their thousands from across the country and the world are tuning in as we
actually
speak
a probiotic.
to NDTV. Results with NDTV is trending as well. We're getting an enormous, a huge, like a flood of comments and reactions, even requests, which I'm going to be relaying to our guests right now.
To come and join the chai stop.
The requests are whether this stall can be put outside the NDTV office after our coverage is over, and whether
you have
people
to
can
ask
get-
Mr. Littiwala.
I've already asked him. He said,
He
no
says,
problem.
okay.
He said, done.
Before he runs out of supplies.
done. He'll get more supplies. And
No, but the good thing is, and you only want to see Padmaja, a team cover elections
you?
is also enjoying themselves. They're enjoying the litti, they're enjoying the dahi chuda, they're enjoying
all
that
the
coverage.
singing, dancing.
If they're not, they're enjoying the singing and the dancing. Otherwise, you know, what's the fun? Elections are so much about color, so much about fun, so much about passion, and so much about effort.
And so much about stories that you pick up and the wisdom of people is far out.
Oh, वहाँ जाओ, वीर सांघवी जी के पास जाओ. Veer
he
sir
has instructions also for
Yes,
the.
what are the instructions? For how he wants his litti.
No, nothing.
Some caviar, some burrata.
On the subject of Bihari
No truffle
What would you
mushrooms.
pair this with? You pair it with a red wine, perhaps?
Diet Coke. But you know the thing about Bihari street food is the best Bihari street food is actually in Calcutta.
Why? Why so?
Because if you go to Calcutta, you have the puchkas, you have the chana, you have the tikkis, and you keep saying, wow, it's Calcutta street food. There's not a single Bengali making any of these things. All of them are Biharis who've come to Calcutta who make it. You go to any of the famous Muslim restaurants in Calcutta, and they all talk about meteor brews, etc. Not one Bengali speaker, all Bihari.
So what do you make about the resurgent pride in Bihari food? You know, it wasn't felt
that's my
earlier.
point, that the Biharis have never claimed this food as their own. It is their food. Even chaat, which UP takes credit for, all over Eastern India, it's Biharis who do it. So
No,
Bihari
it
street
comes
food-
from Bihar originally.
The guys who make it are Biharis.
No, make it. But where does it come from? That's the question.
No Bengali ever invented puchkas here. It all came from UP and Bihar.
Now they also have a MP from Bihar and West Bengal. That's how resurgent the Biharis are. Kirti Azad Bihari is
That's
now
true,
an MP
yeah.
in West Bengal. So that's the takeover of.
Rashtriya have taken your lead and refused a plate of.
Why so? Why so? He had his
something
fair
new.
share yesterday.
Because I stayed back after the chai stop shoot yesterday and practically emptied out this guy's supplies.
But this guy is very good.
He's really good. He's
No,
fabulous.
but Chetan's been exercising so hard, he's staying away. Later he said, no. What, you're minding your abs and being very careful?
I'll have it later. This is very heavy, isn't it? This thing.
Come on, I don't be such Mr.
I just because litti dena bas.
He's being full Mr. Fancy Pants.
ये देना.
Having only the choka. Come on, man.
नहीं, because
You
it's
know,
just
you have tehzeeb who
doesn't sit well,
He
yaar.
needs one meal a day.
चाय भी है आपके पास? ये क्या है? चीनी इसलिए.
I had one in the
It's been
morning.
added since the morning.
Third one. But I'm doing it because we have
Onion do.
Tehsil owns
हाँ, थोड़ा onion
gymnasiums,
दे.
for God's
मिर्ची
sake.
मत देना.
But I'm happy that we are.
No, but
testing, so very good.
Given that you woke up so early in the morning, Chetan,
I like the
indulge.
paratha version of
It's election day.
You know, I think maybe that's why Rahul Gandhi is so fit, because he doesn't get to eat so many laddus. Rahul Gandhi is so because there's no the one benefit of not winning is you don't have to eat so many sweets.
No, but Tehsin, we saw that Pookie video which came out. You saw that
Only
video?
Chetan knew what it meant.
Yeah,
So that is with AI.
That's what it meant.
Yeah.
No, but where is Rahul Gandhi in all this? Where is he?
Tehsin, where is he?
I believe he's not in the country.
But where is he?
Not in the country.
Mamdanistan. Have you heard of Mamdanistan?
Veer, everybody is entitled to some time off. But Mr. Gandhi just seems to take way too much time off work. I mean, I'm not for someone working 24/7, 365. That's not good. But this is just way too much time off work.
Also, when you're in politics and it's an issue, you should sort of cut down only because you know that people will pick on you. I don't think you should travel that.
No, but also given the fact that he did this Vote Adhikar Yatra and just around the Diwali, Bhai Dooj, Chhat period, he was completely missing in action in the
But even today, with Bihar results, you
But
sure
he
he's
even knew this
abroad?
was going to happen, so he
You sure he's abroad? Or?
That's
Big deal
what
on
we
Makar
know, that he's
Sankranti.
not in the country. He's coming back,
Okay.
I think, on 16th or 17th.
We've got, as we chomp into this litti choka and dahi chuda, we've got Maithili Thakur joining us. Well-known singer, she's leading at this moment, fighting her first election, naturally very excited. If you were with us, Maithili ji, we'd invite you to have some lovely, sumptuous Bihari breakfast.
I'm missing on it right now.
हाँ, आप होती तो हम आपको खिलाते लिट्टी चोखा, पक्का से.
Oh, thank you.
अच्छा, आपका फेवरेट वैसे है क्या बिहारी ब्रेकफास्ट? बिकॉज वी गॉट लॉट्स ऑफ ऑप्शंस, मे बी विल जस्ट हैव सम पैक फ्रॉम मिस्टर लिट्टीवाला एंड हैव इट सेंड टू यू.
प्लीज पैक सम लिट्टी चोखा एंड सेंड इट फॉर मी.
अच्छा, ये दूसरी बिहारन है हमारे साथ, शुभराष्ट्र, वो कह रही कि लिट्टी चोखा इज ओवर हाइप्ड. शी इज फुली अगेंस्ट इट. चीजें ये ज्यादा इन्होंने बिहार के बाहर वालों ने इसको ओवर हाइप कर दिया है, ओवर रोमांटिसाइजेशन.
मैथिली भी बताएंगे आपको कि मिथिला का नाश्ता यही होता है, दही चूड़ा ही होता है.
हम जीते
गलत बोल रही हूँ
होता है, लेकिन मैं दही और दूध नहीं खाती हूँ इसीलिए.
ओह, शी इज लैक्टोज इंटॉलरेंट.
अब आप लैक्टोज इंटॉलरेंट है.
हाँ वही. लेकिन दही चूड़ा ऐसा है जो मेरे भाई लोग रोज सुबह में खा करके निकलते हैं घर से.
This is the OG breakfast of Bihar.
Yeah.
Litti is a food when you prepare, like as a family, when you are exhausted, you don't want to do a lot. आप लिट्टी डाल देते हैं चूल्हे में, वो बनता रहता है, उसी में आप भून लेते हैं जो भी आपको सब्जियां भूननी होती है, उसका चोखा बना के खाते हैं.
Okay, she has let her displeasure be known very clearly. Mr. Littiwala needs more optionality. There wasn't enough. Yes, finally he's managed to get something on his plate.
This is nice. It's also too spicy for me. But
कितना ड्रामा है वीर इसका.
अरे we have like
ये ठीक नहीं है.
you have politicians who are lactose intolerant. Now you have politicians who are lactose intolerant.
Yeah, but I think you are creating too much drama about the breakfast.
But I must say,
गए चाय के ठेले पे, ये ठीक नहीं है, वो ठीक नहीं है, इसको कहीं और लेके जाना पड़ेगा.
I'm having this dahi.
So bemused, she is listening to our entire conversation.
ये इलेक्शन कवरेज चल रही है कि क्या हो रहा है?
But I must.
यहाँ पे तो अलग ही है.
Bihar has a full cuisine. It has a very high population, but compared to that, number of Bihari restaurants in India is very less.
No, but it's increasing.
It's increasing.
Okay, Maithili, you're winning your election. Forget this. You know, she's like, okay, I do this for breakfast every day. I'm winning my election. Congratulations, well done. How does it feel to be a first-time candidate currently in the lead with your alliance running away to a sweeping victory in Bihar this time?
ये मेरे लिए बहुत बड़ी बात है कि मैं ऐसे लोगों के सानिध्य में हूँ, ऐसे लोगों के नेतृत्व में हूँ जो बिहार ही नहीं देश में अपना और देश के बाहर भी हम लोग को एक बहुत गर्व से हम सर उठा के बोलते हैं कि हम बिहारी हैं. तो नीतीश कुमार जी, हमारे माननीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी, सब लोग का आशीर्वाद है. और मैं बस आप लोग के चैनल के माध्यम से देख रही हूँ क्या क्या ट्रेंड बनते जा रहा है. आई एम विनिंग इन दैट एंड बहुत अधिक खुशी हो रही है.
अच्छा, don't criticize the stereotypical question, but you can't have Maithili Thakur, whose songs regale all of Bihar, and not ask her. इस वक्त जब आप जीत रही हैं एक फर्स्ट टाइम कैंडिडेट के तौर पे, आपके जहन में, आपके दिल में, आपके दिमाग में कौन सा गाना है जो आप गुनगुना रही हैं?
बधैया ही चल रहा है. बधैया बाजे आंगने में, बधैया बाजे आंगने में, बधैया बाजे आंगने में, बधैया बाजे आंगने में, बधैया बाजे आंगने में.
शुभराष्ट्र हैज अ फरमाइश फॉर यू. शुभराष्ट्र,
मैं तो भगवती गीत ही हमेशा फरमाइश करूंगी. शारदा जी का अगर आप कुछ गुनगुना सके. मैथिली.
लास्ट टाइम आई स्टैंड जय जय भैरवी फॉर यू.
यस.
अभी मैं आपको जगदम्बा घर में देरा सुनाती हूँ.
वो भी सुनाया था आपने.
अच्छा.
अरे उसमें जिसमें पूरा भगवती के रूप का वर्णन है.
अरे
वाह, यही है.
कमल राजित ताहियो पर भगवती माँ, सिंध पर एक कमल राजित ताहियो पर भगवती.
मैथिली, ये बताइए कि अब आप लीड में हैं, हो सकता है आप जीत भी जाए, आपकी इतनी कम उम्र है, आप एकदम मतलब कला के क्षेत्र से हैं, आप गाती हैं. पॉलिटिक्स बहुत बहुत मुश्किल है, यहाँ पर म्यूजिक कम होता है, डिस्कॉर्डेंट नोट, शोर शराबा ज्यादा होता है. क्या आप उस आपाधापी के लिए तैयार हैं?
आई थिंक बहुत जरूरी है कि संवेदनशील लोगों को पॉलिटिक्स में आना चाहिए, ताकि जितने भी लोगों के मन में ये है कि पॉलिटिक्स गंदगी है, दलदल है. जैसे मुझे 1 महीना जो झेलने को मिला ना सोशल मीडिया पे, या फिर अपने फैंस जितने हमारे प्रशंसक थे संगीत से, सब लोगों ने जिस तरीके से मुझे चेतावनी दी कि नहीं करो ये काम, मत जाओ, ऐसा मत करो, तो यही सब मैं सुनते हुए आ रही हूँ. लेकिन एक मुझे मिसाल सेट करना है कि पॉलिटिक्स में हम लोग एक बड़ी चेंज ला सकते हैं.
बड़ी सुरीली रहने वाली है नई असेंबली.
Maithili, I'm a very big fan of your music. I'm a new fan of your music as well. But मेरा एक सवाल था, because as a singer, हार्ड वर्क इज नथिंग न्यू टू यू, लेकिन इस कैंपेन में आपके लिए सबसे मुश्किल क्या था? व्हाट वाज द मोस्ट डिफिकल्ट थिंग फॉर यू इन द कैंपेन?
सबसे ज्यादा डिफिकल्ट मेरे लिए था शुरू के 4 दिन कि मैं इतनी नेगेटिविटी मैंने कभी जीवन में नहीं झेली थी, क्योंकि मुझे मेरे माता पिता, मैं अपने पापा को यहाँ पे ज्यादा श्रेय दूंगी, उन्होंने मुझे सबसे अलग काट करके एक कोने में छुपा के रखा था अभी तक कि सिर्फ संगीत पे ध्यान दो, बाहर जो भी कुछ बोल रहा है, चाहे तुम्हारे प्रशंसक है तुम उनको भी मत सुनो, जो तुम्हारी निंदा कर रहे हैं उनको भी मत सुनो। लेकिन अभी मैं ऐसी जगह पे हूँ जहाँ पे मेरे पापा ने एक स्टेप पीछे ले लिया है कि अब तन्नू तुम जाओ आगे और तुम देखो कैसी होती है दुनिया, कैसे जीना है। तो ये मेरे लिए शुरू के 4-5 दिन रोज रो रो करके बीतते थे कि इतना बुरा लोग मुझे बोल रहे हैं, मुझे लोग बिल्कुल साबित कर रहे हैं कि मैं डम हूँ, मैं बच्ची हूँ, मुझे कुछ नहीं आता, मैं कहाँ से आ गई हूँ, गुड़िया हूँ। तो अभी ये 4-5 दिन मेरे लिए डिफिकल्ट पार्ट था। हालांकि जो 17-18 घंटे का जो कैंपेन था वो तो मैं बहुत इंजॉय करती थी, और आगे मैं अपने 5 साल में बहुत अच्छे और बड़े बड़े ऐसे काम करूंगी ताकि सब लोगों को अपने काम से चुप करा सकूं।
Well, that's very
What happens to your
interesting.
singing career though? Can you balance both, Maithili, or do you think it will become one of the two?
No. I can manage both because I'm not resigning from a job to join another career. Music मेरे कंठ में है, मेरे जीवन शैली में ही संगीत है, तो मुझे उससे रेजिग्नेशन देकर के आगे बढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं है।
चलिए चलते चलते विक्ट्री सॉन्ग के लिए आपके जहन में क्या आ रहा है वो मांग रहे हैं हमारे प्रोड्यूसर्स। व्हाट्स योर विक्ट्री एंथम?
बिल्कुल नहीं सोच पा रही हूँ, मेरा फोन ऐसा लग रहा है कि आज खराब हो जाएगा, ब्लास्ट हो जाएगा। मैं लगातार अपने भाइयों का और मेरा खुद का फोन मैनेज करूंगी कि वो भी काउंटिंग हॉल में है, तो मैं फोन पे जस्ट मैं अभी गाना सोच ही नहीं पा रही, कॉन्सेंट्रेट नहीं कर पा रही।
Anyway, we'll do that later. Just soak in the moment,
sure.
enjoy yourself. Thank you so much and our best wishes to you. सतीश के सिंह joins us. सतीश जी, कांटे की टक्कर, क्लोज फाइट, ये वो तो सिर्फ पोल्स में हुई, जमीन पर तो एनडीए लेके उड़ गई इलेक्शन।
एनडीए लेके उड़ी या नीतीश?
आप बताइए, दो
मुझे लगता है
ऐसा तो हो नहीं सकता कि वन ऑफ द टू तो हो नहीं सकता है,
नहीं
दोनों लड़े हैं सर।
उसमें जूनियर पार्टनर, हु इज द जूनियर पार्टनर? Nitish seems to be proving that this election was around him and there was some speculation.
नहीं, I don't agree with you. देखिए, ये दोनों लोगों ने मिलके, मतलब दोनों बैट्समैन ने मिलके रन बनाए तभी इतने रन बने। अगर एक ही के भरोसे बैठे होते अशोक मलिक तो इतने, if I can pull you away from the लिट्टी चोखा just for a moment for some commentary, इतना आसान नहीं होता।
I think the combination is important because the organizational strength of the BJP, the all India appeal of the BJP and the local appeal of Nitish, which is without which you could not have won, certainly. But that combination is important. So
Jiten Ram Manjhi of the Hindustan Awam Morcha speaking at this moment, former Chief Minister of Bihar. Let's listen in.
नीतीश कुमार निश्चित रूप में हम लोग तो यही मान के चलते हैं कि नीतीश कुमार ही बनेंगे मुख्यमंत्री।
कल तक तेजस्वी दावतावनी दे रहे थे कि कोई अधिकारी किसी इशारे पर काम अगर करेगा तो
वो तो पहले ही से कह रहे थे कि गिरल भभकी देते हैं, भ्रामक समाचार पैदा करते हैं ताकि लोगों में दहशत हो। तो ये शो कर रहे थे कि हम जीत रहे हैं, कोई गड़बड़ी होगी, लेकिन धन्यवाद है चुनाव आयोग को कि जिन्होंने उन लोगों का मुंह बंद कर दिया। वो लोग देखे कि कहाँ गड़बड़ी हो रही है। हर तरह से चुनाव आयोग बिहार का, हिंदुस्तान का बहुत एकदम स्वच्छ कार्य कर रही है। और हम समझते हैं कि इतना बड़ा देश में जहाँ करीब करीब 80 करोड़ 82 करोड़ जन वोटर्स हैं, वहाँ वोट कराना बहुत मुश्किल होता है और विभिन्न तरह के लोग होते हैं। वहाँ सक्सेसफुली वो वोट कराया है और हम समझते हैं कि इसके लिए जितना भी प्रशंसा किया जाए चुनाव आयोग का वो कम होगा।
नेपाल जैसा स्थिति हो जाएगा।
वो यही तो जो अपना जंगल राज का अपना प्रवृत्ति दिखला रहे थे, तो अच्छा हुआ है, FIR हुआ है, सुनते हैं, कानूनी कार्रवाई होगी उन पर। जो इस तरह का बात बोलेगा ये इस तरह की कार्रवाई में लीन होगा या कोई ऐसा वातावरण पैदा करेगा। ये बिहार है, गौतम बुद्ध की धरती है, अशोक की धरती है।
आपकी पार्टी को भी सर नई सरकार
अब भूमिका अभी तो आना बाकी है। हम तो सोचते हैं कि 6 सीट जीतेंगे, लेकिन अभी जो रुझान दे रहा है 3-4-5 3-4-5 आ रहा है।
That's Jiten Ram Manjhi, former Chief Minister of Bihar. I've just received a message from London. Good morning, Rahul. I've been watching NDTV since 3 a.m. for the election coverage in the United Kingdom. I badly need this chai stop to come my way. This is Subhash from London. So Subhash, here it is, sending some virtual chai your way. So thank you, Mr. Litiwala. We'll have you back hopefully for some dessert later. We can have some.
मीठे में क्या है?
हाँ?
क्या डेजर्ट?
सर ऐसे आपको इलेक्शन करने के लिए अपना रोल याद रखो, भूलो मत. You are here for election punditry.
But now in Tamil Nadu elections, will we have dosa? Like you set the benchmark.
No, of course. Where's the doubt?
Chetan, I'm off to Tamil Nadu in a few days to do a recce for Rahul. We're going to be doing it in an even bigger way.
If anchors and editors head off to Tamil Nadu, we'll have a newsroom figuring out who's going to actually be doing all the work. Let me go across to Abdul Bari Siddiqui, senior leader of the RJD, one of the generals of Lalu Yadav, now seeing this generational shift happening in the RJD. Siddiqui Saab, welcome to NDTV. Your thoughts, as it seems very clear now that the NDA, the JDU and the BJP have run away with this election. आपने लालू का दौर देखा है, लालू जिताया करते थे आरजेडी को. लग रहा है कि उनका बेटा और उनके लीडरशिप में एक बार फिर से गठबंधन हार की तरफ बढ़ रही है.
नहीं, देखिए अभी शुरुआती रुझान है और आफ्टर पोलिंग जो लोगों का उत्साह देखा है तो उससे मुझको अभी तक निराशा नहीं हुई है और मैं मानता हूं कि ये शुरुआती रुझान है और जो फिगर है ये बदलेगा जरूर, ऐसा मुझको यकीन है.
नहीं पर सर कैसे बदलेगा, आपको मैं दिखा देता हूं. अभी के जो आंकड़े हैं 171 लीडें हैं 243 में से. अगर बदल रहा है तो ये उल्टी दिशा में बदल रहा है. अब 49 सीट्स फ्रॉम द लास्ट टाइम. ये तो बड़ी ही जीत होती है. बदल रहा है तो उनको और फायदा हो रहा है, उल्टा नहीं हो रहा है सर. यहाँ पे आंकड़े जो आ रहे हैं
जो 69 MGB के उसमें से ओनली 50 इज आरजेडी, सो दे आर डाउन टू द सेकंड लोएस्ट. 22 था 2010 में. अभी
कहीं ना कहीं सिद्दीकी साहब अभी चर्चा करने का विषय ये है कि गठबंधन की इतनी खराब हार कैसे हुई इस इलेक्शन में, ये सबसे बड़ा सवाल है.
नहीं, अभी आपसे हम जानना चाहेंगे कि ये कैवा राउंड है.
नहीं, अभी अलग अलग काउंटिंग सेंटर्स पे अलग अलग हुआ है बिटवीन द थर्ड एंड द फोर्थ राउंड ऑफ काउंटिंग. बट या आई शो एक्सेप्ट इट विल टेक सम टाइम, बट दिस इज इन एनी केस ऑलरेडी बिगर देन एनी पोस्ट पोल स्टडी. जो सैंपल अब तक काउंट हो गया है, विच इज अ रिप्रेजेंटेटिव सैंपल, इट्स अक्रॉस ऑल काउंटिंग सेंटर्स, इज अ वेरी वास्ट एक्चुअल सैंपल. तो ये ट्रेंड तो पकड़ रहा है. अगर थोड़ा सा जैसे 174 एंड जयमरिक कैन बिग दिस डाउन, 174 कैन कम डाउन टू 170, 165. पर अगर आप सोचो कि ट्रेंड ही रिवर्स हो जाएगा, एमजीबी 174 पे चल जाएगा 65 पे, सर अब वो पॉसिबल नहीं है.
का लेटेस्ट इंफॉर्मेशन क्वालिफाई कर देता हूं. इलेक्शन कमीशन सर 243 में से 232 सीट का लीड दे रहा है, उसमें आपके 42 हैं.
ये देखिए ना 47 in the data that we have, 47 leads for the RJD, down 28 from the last time.
It will peak at 50 or 51 at best. So they are
थोड़ा सा चेंज सिद्दीकी साहब, थोड़ा सा चेंज हो सकता है. ये ट्रेंड रिवर्सल नहीं हो सकता. आई थिंक इट्स टाइम फॉर नाउ सम वेरी सीरियस इंट्रोस्पेक्शन एंड फॉर यू ऑल्सो टू लुक एट एंड टू कंसिडर एंड टू एक्सप्लेन टू पीपल वॉचिंग व्हाई यू थिंक द गठबंधन स्क्रिप्ट वेंट सो हॉरिबली रॉन्ग. ये सवाल है सर इस वक्त का.
नहीं, मुझको आश्चर्यजनक जरूर लगता है.
आश्चर्य लगता है सर, ये तो रिजल्ट है. आश्चर्य क्या, आपको तो पता ही होगा जमीन पे क्या हो रहा है, क्योंकि आरजेडी इज डाउन 28 seats from the last time, winning only 47, leading at 47.
नहीं, एक्चुअली जस्ट अ मिनट
जी.
आश्चर्यजनक इसलिए लगता है कि जो आफ्टर पोलिंग लोगों का उत्साह हमने अपने लोगों का देखा है, तो या तो पब्लिक झूठ बोल रही है या मशीन झूठ बोल रहा है, क्या बोले. अगर यही है तो हम अभी भी आशान्वित हैं कि अगर ये राउंड फर्स्ट सेकंड थर्ड है और वोट जो पोल हुआ है वो बहुत ज़्यादा पोल हुआ है, परसेंटेज बढ़े हैं, तो इसलिए हम मायूस अभी तक नहीं हैं. हम कह सकते हैं कि इब्तदाई इसके रोता है क्या, आगे आगे देखिए होता है.
चलिए सतीश के सिंह के पास आपके लिए सवाल है. सतीश जी पूछिए.
सिद्दीकी साहब, देखिए, आके तो नेता लोग खाली झूठ ही बोलते रहते हैं, थोड़ा आप सच बोलने के लिए जाने जाते हैं। गड़बड़ी कहाँ रही है? क्या माने कि ये जो सोशल जस्टिस, सामाजिक न्याय, ईबीसी एजेंडा आदि 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 ये सब की हार हो रही है? कहाँ? आप थोड़ा ऑनेस्टली बताइए, ऑनेस्टली बताइए।
नहीं, ऑनेस्टली सतीश जी ऑनेस्टली बता रहे हैं कि जैसा आपने इल्जाम लगाया नेताओं पे कि नेता लोग तो झूठ ही बोलते रहते हैं, ठीक है, मतलब
आप सच बोलते हैं।
लोग को अगर नहीं एक्चुअली अगर मैं आप कहूं कि पत्रकार लोग झूठ बोलते हैं तो आपको अच्छा लगेगा?
नहीं आप अच्छा, अरे मैंने आपसे कहा सब पत्रकार थोड़ी झूठ बोलते हैं, जैसे वो आप भी सच ही बोलते हैं, मैं जानता हूं आपके बारे में।
सिद्दीकी साहब आप खुद नाराज चल रहे थे। अब मैं आपसे ब्लंटली पूछ ही लेती हूँ, कई ऐसी सीटें थी जहां आपका जो रिकमेंडेशन था वो नहीं माना गया। बीच में आपकी नाराजगी बहुत ही साफ सबके सामने आई थी जब आपने कहा था कि तेजस्वी यादव जननायक कहलाने के लायक नहीं है। आपको लगता है कि टिकट डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन में जिस तरीके से मुसलमानों को लगातार आरजेडी कम से कम टिकट देती जा रही है, गलती की गई है?
नहीं मैडम, ऐसा है कि वो जननायक की बात नहीं थी। उन्होंने किसी ने खरखाही में नायक का पोस्टर लगाया था, तो हमसे पूछा गया, जैसे आप भी अभी बोल रही है कि जननायक, तो हमने कहा कि भाई लोक नायक जयप्रकाश जी कहलाते हैं और जननायक कर्पूरी जी कहलाते हैं, और हमारे जो यूथ लीडर हैं भविष्य, इनको हम कह सकते हैं यूथ के आइकॉन कह सकते हैं, इतना ही हम बोला था, मगर ये नहीं कहा। मगर जब वोट के बारे में है, मैं अभी भी आशान्वित हूँ कि साहब अब देखिए, अगर यही स्थिति है, मान लीजिए थोड़े देर के लिए ऐसा ही रिजल्ट आता है, तो फिर हमको शुरू से सारी समीक्षा करनी पड़ेगी कि क्या हुआ।
बिल्कुल, तो कुछ ऐसे भी लोग हैं ना पार्टी के अंदर जो आपको लगता है कि भटका रहे हैं तेजस्वी यादव को, जो नए पार्टी में आए हैं वो सही सलाह नहीं दे रहे हैं।
देखिए, अभी इस सब पे तो किसी तरह का टीका टिप्पणी करने की जरूरत नहीं है। अभी रिजल्ट क्या आ रहा है फाइनली, उसके बाद आप पूछिए।
Okay, we'll have you back later. Abdul Bari Siddiqui, who stood by Lalu Yadav at the peak of the RJD's success, now seeing the current results unfold before him. He knows what's happened, wants to hold back any analysis and judgment. There are two data sets I want to take right at this moment to give you some very interesting insights. The first one is the impact of Prashant Kishore. Live analytics on your screen right now. I'll show you the impact that Prashant Kishore has had. He contested 238 seats. Out of them, his party is currently leading on 5, trailing on 163. The spoiler alert data says on 20 seats, the votes won by Prashant Kishore's party at this moment are more than the gap between the party that is leading and trailing. So out of those 13 leads were with the NDA, 5 with the Gathbandhan. So he's damaged the NDA's prospects on 13 seats. He's damaged the Gathbandhan on 5. So he's
Pradeep Gupta, he said the ratio would be like 75-25.
So he's damaging the NDA more. 18 seats where he spoiled the chances of the NDA, but his ability largely, Arshse Farsh, he said 166 seats he's trailing on, which basically means he hasn't had the kind of impact he would have hoped for. This is the Owaisi impact, trailing on 19 seats, leading only on 1. Spoiler alert says 6. Spoiler alert is blinking 6, which means on 6 seats, the number of votes counted in favor of Owaisi's party this time are more than the gap between the winner and the runner-up, which essentially means he is playing the role of a spoiler. On
for
that,
the MGB.
The NDA is leading on 5, the Gathbandhan on 1. So he is helping the NDA on 5 seats, which otherwise may have gone towards the Gathbandhan. But that again, Veer Sanghvi, not much of a difference. Even if you add these 5 leads thanks to Owaisi to the Gathbandhan tally, last time they were saying it was so tight that Owaisi made the difference. This time that's not the case.
No, It's not large enough to have swung the election either way. It's interesting, but not terribly significant in the large.
Just a side note, as it were, it doesn't materially impact what's happening.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at how some of the VIP candidates are doing. Anand Singh, jailed in Mokama, he's leading on a JDU ticket. Take also, for example, Inderjeet Gupta of the IIP, working along with the Gathbandhan, he's trailing in Saharsa. If you take, for example, Osama Sahib on an RJD ticket, he's currently leading in Raghunathpur. If I'll go across to the next sheet and show you the data here, on a BJP ticket, Ramkirpal Yadav in Danapur is currently trailing. Renu Devi is trailing in Bettiah. If you look at Tarkishore Prasad, former Deputy Chief Minister, he's leading in Katihar. So here's a look at some of the...
Giriraj Singh is speaking now.
Okay, let's listen to Giriraj Singh. Yes.
और बिहार की जनता अमन चैन शांति के लिए वोट दिया है, न्याय के साथ विकास के लिए वोट दिया है। और इधर नेतृत्व है नीतीश कुमार, नरेंद्र मोदी। भले युवा ने नहीं देखा वो काल, लेकिन उनके बुजुर्गों ने तो देखा है, और ये जीत उसी की
जी। तो सर, महिलाओं का हमने देखा है कि किस तरह से महिलाओं ने बढ़ चढ़ के वोटिंग करी है, बिहार में देखने को मिला है। क्या
अब आपको मैं कहूं, लालू यादव अपने को गरीबों का मसीहा किया, लेकिन मसीहा अपने परिवार का बना। नीतीश कुमार ने महिलाओं की सशक्तिकरण की, नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने लाखपति दीदी का कॉन्सेप्ट दिया गरीबों की, महिलाओं को सशक्तिकरण के लिए। तो महिला क्या वोट देगी लूट खसोट वालों को? महिला ने नरेंद्र मोदी और नीतीश कुमार पे भरोसा किया, लाखपति दीदी बनने का एक उनको अवसर दिया है। इसकी जीत भी कह सकते हैं, लेकिन ये बिहार की जीत हमारी है। बंगाल वाली दीदी अगली बारी बंगाल की है, क्योंकि वहां भी रोहिंग्या बांग्लादेशी घुसपैठियों को निकालना है, अराजकता की सरकार को हटाना है।
सर, लेकिन कांग्रेस...
Giriraj Singh quite charged up and pumped up there. Ashok Malik, now this is an important point that Giriraj makes. His hope and anticipation that the victory in Bihar will enthuse the BJP cadre to make a harder dash for Fortress Bengal. That's what he's hoping for, and that's the signal they're sending to Kolkata and to the rest of the country.
True, obviously it will give a fillip, but of course Mamata Banerjee is I would say a far more formidable rival there than Tejashwi Yadav. However, there is something to what he says. If 10 or 15 years ago you would have told me that the BJP would have a chief minister in Odisha, could possibly be the single largest party in Bihar, and would see itself as having a reasonable chance in Bengal, I would have laughed at you.
Pawan Khera is speaking at this moment, heads the media cell of the Congress. Let's listen to Mr. Khera.
खेड़ा जी, आप कैसे देखते हैं इन रुझानों को? क्या आप मानते हैं कि महागठबंधन?
Well, I'm saying it directly. Well, I'm saying it directly. There was a book we all read as children, To Serve with Love. So this is a book written by Ganesh Gupta for Mr. Modi.
सर, हिंदी में जानेंगे कि ये जो रुझान है, आपको लगता है कि ये अब महागठबंधन पिछड़ गया है, हार मानते हैं आप?
नहीं, अभी शुरुआती रुझान है, और शुरुआती रुझानों में जैसा कि मैंने कहा कि ऐसा लग रहा है कि ज्ञानेश कुमार गुप्ता बिहार की जनता पर भारी पड़ रहे हैं, लेकिन इंतजार करते हैं।
आप चुनावी मिलीभगत के आरोप लगा रहे हैं।
मैं सीधा सीधा बोल रहा हूं, मैं कोई लाग लपेट के साथ नहीं बोल रहा, मैं सीधा सीधा बोल रहा हूं कि शुरुआती रुझान पिछले 2-2.5 घंटे के रुझानों में ऐसा अभी देखने को प्रतीत हो रहा है कि ज्ञानेश कुमार गुप्ता बिहार की जनता पर भारी पड़ रहे हैं। हो सकता है बिहार की जनता जीते।
Sir, before the elections, HM had claimed that they are going to get 160 to 180 seats. They are nearing to
So, I mean, that proves what I just said. That only endorses what I just said.
सर, अब आगे क्या करेंगे? आगे की रणनीति क्या होगी? क्योंकि ज्ञानेश कुमार पे डायरेक्ट जो है वो आपने आरोप लगाया है।
मैं आरोप नहीं लगा रहा, मैं तो ये देख रहा हूँ कि वो कितने इफेक्टिव हैं। जो वो कर रहे हैं, वो कितनी बखूबी कर रहे हैं, वो देखने को आज मिलेगा।
सर, आगे की रणनीति...
We've got Pradeep Bhandari and Anshul Avijit joining us from the BJP and Congress respectively now. Both the spokespersons now joining us. Anshul Avijit, to you first. The numbers here are unprecedented, many wondering if this is going to reach the 2010 level where you had the NDA cross the 200 mark. This can't be down to one factor alone. It can't be just about 10,000 rupees. Obviously, there's an overall story in Bihar that perhaps you fail to see.
No, I mean, look, I think the idea of pro-incumbency has to be really revisited, because nobody has voted for the NDA if these results concretize, if these results go the entire distance. Nobody has voted for the NDA because they're jobless, because their household savings are the lowest, because they have to go outside the state, face discrimination possibly and typecasting and earn money and send it back because there is no industry. Nobody has voted on the account of the economic suffering of Bihar. I think what has happened is, and again, the rider that these results concretizes, Bihar is notoriously caste-driven. I've always maintained that, right? We can look beyond that and point out caste in different groups like women and youth and all. I don't know about all that. I'll be delighted to be proved wrong, but Bihar has been caste-driven. There are two blocks, coalition blocks that are there, which is the NDA and...
But Anshula Vijay, that's the politics even you do. When you fought an election, you obviously also were looking at your caste vote. That being said, in the area where your family sees its stronghold in Sasaram today, you have the NDA in a lead in that entire area where the Congress was at its strongest in the Shahabad area. How is the NDA making inroads? Again, I say there has to be something more than just blaming the people and saying you have gone for caste. That's what every party does.
No, I'm not blaming the people. I respect their verdict. I can't ever say, I always thought that this was a challenging election. These are assembly elections. It doesn't matter what it was. Things change. Bihar is very difficult.
Let's not miss the story here, Anshul. 185 leads for the NDA. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just tuning in, make no mistake, Bihar is seeing history being made. This is a whopping mandate after 2 decades of being in power. 185 out of 243, 63 up from the last time. The Janata Dal united at 80 leads, the BJP just behind at 78, the Lok Jan Shakti Party, Lamvilas Paswan 22, Hindustan Awam Morcha at 4, Kushwaha's party at 1, Pradeep Bhandari. Congratulations. History being made in Bihar. This is proving to be a landslide victory. Far from being a Kante ki takkar, this is one-way traffic across the state.
Well, Rahul, good morning to all your viewers. I believe that the people of Bihar have spoken. This is a historic mandate. This is a mandate. It's a pure pro-incumbency election. It's an election where the people of Bihar have said that they stand with Prime Minister Narendra Modi's governance and the NDA. Please look at this. This is just not a mere caste-wise. A lot of analysts have been saying that it is mere caste arithmetic. This is across caste lines, across demography lines. Bihar is 89% rural, which also tells you that the entire backing of the rural India has been with the welfare schemes of the Prime Minister and the Bihar government. At the same time, if you look at it, this is the most gender inclusive election in Bihar because the women voting turnout was 8% roughly more than the men voting turnout. Compare it to the 1952 where the men voting turnout was higher. So which means that women participation has also been maximum. So if you study the entire election, the map of Bihar, we have got votes across various places where earlier it was considered to be the stronghold of the opposition. But it is just not limited to Bihar, Rahul. Prime Minister Modi has set up a pro-incumbency habit. Look at Gujarat. We have been in power. Look at Madhya Pradesh. So earlier, just in 10 seconds, I land. Lot of analysts used to say that anti-incumbency is a trend with the government. Anti-incumbency has become a trend with the opposition because of the way Rahul Gandhi has conducted the opposition.
Look, the Mahagathbandhan already set the stage before results even came in from last night. It actually broke on Padmaja's show when the RJD said, this vote is going to be stolen. Today you've seen Pawan Khera say to serve with love. So everything is being blamed except what really happened on the ground and all of those factors. But NDTV was the only network, Rahul, that actually did a study. And Jay is here right now on SIR since Pawan Khera mentioned that. So I want to understand from you, Rahul, and all of us here about that. What do these results tell us about the SIR impact? Because that was instinctively the first thing that the Congress has blamed in their first reaction to these numbers.
No, but remember, and Jay will build on this, that the maximum deletion was 6.12% in the Simanchal region per seat average. The pan state average was 4.89. In the manner in which votes have gone up, this is a massive wave. This is a tsunami that we're seeing. Jay, so SIR may be a factor on the margins, but this is a massive wave for the NDA.
Really absolutely. No, what we did is, Rahul, we actually adjusted the SIR reduction into the turnout. Okay. So even after adjusting the SIR reduction into the hard absolute turnout numbers, the average growth in turnout was 29,082 votes, which means that would have far annulled anything that the SIR could have done.
Yeah.
So that's point number one. Point number two, even in areas where a higher reduction took place, like Simachal, where, as Rahul rightly pointed out, about 6.2% of the votes were cut, that was more than compensated by an aggressive turnout, which was in an average of 45,000 per assembly seat.
I want to go across to Manoj Tiwari, Member of Parliament from Northeast Delhi. Also, for our viewers who don't know, very strong opening batsman for the Members of Parliament 11. And in Bihar, he was with us at Power Play. आप बोल रहे थे कि एक तरफ हवा चलेगी. From what we can see, Manoj ji, in Bihar, a massive victory, a historic victory of a kind we haven't seen. The only question now, 190, it's gone up to 190. The NDA could be beating the 2010 tally as well. This is history of a kind that many pundits have failed to predict. This is a massive victory. Congratulations.
Yes, राहुल जी, मैं समझता हूं कि अभी ये तस्वीर, अब तो रुझान है, मगर हम जब लोगों ने हमसे पूछा, हमने 175 प्लस की अपेक्षा की थी, लेकिन जो ग्राउंड पे दिखता था, जो ग्राउंड पे लोगों का मोदी जी, नीतीश जी में विश्वास था, वो अद्भुत था। यही कारण था कि उसको लोगों ने इतना बड़ा परिणाम दिया है। रुझान है, मुझे पता है, लेकिन रुझान में भी इस तरह से जाना और लगातार सुबह से बढ़त बनाए रखना, ये एक बड़े परिणाम का झलक है। और हम तो बिहार के 78 जगहों पे जब हम जहाँ गए, लोगों के मुख से सुने, जो आज मखाना उद्योग से, आप तो स्वयं तालाब में तैरते हुए दिखे थे मुझे, जो मखाना बनाते हैं वहाँ पे मैं आपको तालाब में देखा था, वो कितना बड़ा आज रोजगार का साधन है उस मखाना बोर्ड बनने के बाद। और इसके साथ साथ चाहे वो लोगों की गली हो, सड़क हो, पानी हो, नहर हो, हम इस बिहार में, राहुल जी आज एक बात आपको बताएंगे, हम लोग नहर पे पुलिया बनाने के लिए अनशन करते थे पहले और नहीं बनता था। आज नदी पे पुल कैसे बन जाता है, ये सब बिहार ने एक 20 साल के अवधि लगी है, लेकिन जो मोदी जी और नीतीश जी के प्रति विश्वास आया है, उसने जाति की दीवारें तोड़ दी है। राहुल जी,
शिव हैज अ क्वेश्चन फॉर यू। मनोज जी,
नो कास्ट बार नाउ।
मनोज जी, महागठबंधन का स्क्रिप्ट गलत कैसे गया? हाउ डिड इट गो सो रॉन्ग आपके ओपिनियन में? और आप तेजस्वी और राहुल के लिए क्या गाना गाएंगे? व्हाट सॉन्ग विल यू सिंग फॉर देम?
महागठबंधन का नुकसान उसी दिन हो गया था जब उन्होंने शहाबुद्दीन अमर रहे कहा था तेजस्वी बाबू, और कांग्रेस ने महागठबंधन के सपनों को चूर कर दिया था जिस दिन उन्होंने छठ माता की पूजा को ड्रामा कहा। क्योंकि देखिए, गली गली लोगों को सुविधाएं देने वाला नीतीश जी की सरकार, मोदी जी का साथ, तो ये दो चीजों ने जो किया है उसको तो हम लोग एक चुनाव में एक गीत गाते थे जो बिहार का प्राइड बन के निकला कि माटी को सोना करने वाली कलाकारी हैं जी, हाँ हम बिहारी हैं जी। वेरी प्राउडली एवरीवन इज सिंगिंग, हाँ हम बिहारी हैं जी।
आज जोश में मैं देख रहा हूँ, जब ये जीत रहे होते तब गाने को बोलो तो फट से गा देते हैं, जब हार रहे होते जीतते को गाने को बोलो तो बिल्कुल इनका मन ही नहीं करता, इनको लगता है कि गाना ही नहीं समझ में आ रहा, क्या बोलूं कुछ गाने को। मेरे को लगा मना करोगे आप शिव को, आप तो एक झटके में ही गा दिए। वाह मनोज जी वाह। शुभराष्ट्र आपसे कुछ पूछना चाहती है। फर्स्ट टाइम लगा। आई थॉट ही इज गोना से नो टू यू, बट या ही इज विनिंग सो ही इज हैप्पी। थोड़ा और भी फरमाइश कर सकते हैं।
गुड रन, यू हैड द दिल्ली इलेक्शंस, नाउ यू हैड द बिहार इलेक्शंस, ही हैज बीन स्टार कैंपेनर इन बोथ।
स्टार्टेड विद दिल्ली, एंडिंग विद बिहार।
गुड लक।
अब थोड़ा सा शर्मा रहे हैं, ठीक है। हाँ शुभराष्ट्र
मनोज जी, चूंकि बहुत सारे महत्वाकांक्षी वोटर्स ने भी इस बार फिर से एनडीए को जिताने में बहुत बड़ा योगदान किया है, मैं एक स्पेसिफिक पॉलिसी लेवल प्रश्न है, ये हमारे मिथिलांचल में जो हर साल बाढ़ की समस्या आती है, इंडिपेंडेंस के पहले से भी ये समस्या रही है, इसको लेकर के अमित शाह जी ने बहुत बड़ा बयान दिया है कि हम अगले 1 साल के अंदर इसको सॉल्व करेंगे। क्या ब्लूप्रिंट है, बीजेपी कैसे चाह रही है कि हम इसमें आगे बढ़ें, क्योंकि ये एक बहुत बड़ा मुद्दा है। और दूसरी बात, बिहारी कहना प्राइड की बात तो है ही, हम सब ने बहुत प्राउडली असर्ट किया है अपने आइडेंटिटी को, लेकिन माइग्रेशन के सवाल पर भी मेरा प्रश्न है कि ऐसा क्या करेंगे बिहार में कि हम जैसे लोग वापस जाएं, जो एस्पिरेशनल कार्डर है वो वापस जाए, क्योंकि जन सुराज जैसे पार्टी ने भी बिल्कुल धता बता दिया हमें ये कह करके कि वो हमारा फोकस ही नहीं है, एस्पिरेशनल बिहारीज आर नॉट आवर फोकस। तो मैं ये 2 स्पेसिफिक पॉलिसी लेवल सवाल पूछना चाहती हूँ आपसे।
नहीं, बिल्कुल अच्छा है, और इसको हमारी केंद्रीय नेतृत्व ने भी इसको एड्रेस किया है। और जो आपने कहा बाढ़ की समस्या, ये बाढ़ के नुकसान को आज हम लोगों ने बहुत मिनिमाइज किया है, मगर उसे पूरी तरह से सुरक्षित बनाना, ये हमारा इस 5 साल का एक बड़ा रोड मैप इसका बन रहा है। और हमारे नेता अमित शाह जी ने भी इसको कहा, नीतीश जी के एग्जीक्यूशन में और मोदी जी के केंद्रीय नेतृत्व में हम इस कार्य को करेंगे। इसी का एक स्वरूप है कोसी नदी पे बहुत बड़ा ब्रिज, इसी का एक बहुत बड़ा एग्जाम्पल है कि कैसे हम किनारों को सुरक्षित कर रहे हैं, उन पानी को और भी नदियों से कैसे जोड़ करके कहीं सूखा कहीं बाढ़ को हम मिनिमाइज करेंगे, इसका एक अच्छा रोड मैप है। और जो दूसरा आपका एक बात आया, आपने कहा माइग्रेशन, देखिए आज भी ना, आज पंजाब में मजदूर नहीं मिल रहे हैं उतने जितने चाहिए, आज हर स्टेट में कमी होने लगी है, क्योंकि जब आप इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बढ़ाते हैं, 7,000 किलोमीटर की हाईवे बनती है, तो काम बिहार में भी है। अभी इस बार हम लोगों ने हर जिले में एक फैक्ट्री अवश्य होगी, ये हमारा संकल्प है।
मनोज जी, पद्मजा हैज अ क्वेश्चन फॉर यू। पद्मजा
जी, मनोज जी,
स्किल सेंटर होगा। तो राहुल भाई, मेरा कहने का मतलब है, ये बात बहुत अच्छा है जो मैम ने कहा, और हम इसको एड्रेस करने के लिए हमारे जितने बजट का दूसरा काम होता था, अब उसी बजट से।
जी सर, बट ऑन प्रायोरिटी, क्योंकि अब बिहार कह रहा है, और ये बार बार हमने बोला है एनडीटीवी पे भी, कि लोग ये जरूर कह रहे हैं कि एक बार नीतीश जी आ जाए तो वही ठीक है, लेकिन उनसे उम्मीदें भी बहुत है कि बहुत तकलीफें हैं, पलायन तकलीफ है, नौकरी की तकलीफ है, बाढ़ की तकलीफ है। चलिए, हमें उम्मीद नीतीश जी से है, फर्क बस इतना है। लेकिन आपके खुद के जो है बड़े करीबी रहे हैं कई लोग, इस बार चुनाव लड़ रहे हैं।
होगी।
आपने शाहबुद्दीन की बात की थी, तो उनके उसामा शाहब, उनके जो अभी बेटे हैं, वो रघुनाथपुर से करीब 45-50 वोट से इतने करीब से पीछे चल रहे हैं, पर बहुत कांटे की टक्कर है। लेकिन मैं पूछना चाहती हूं आपसे, आपके कुछ एक वक्त जो बहुत करीबी लोग रहे हैं, खेसारी लाल यादव, ये सब भी अपना चुनाव लड़ रहे हैं, उनको क्या आप मैसेज देना चाहेंगे, और क्या लग रहा है आपको उनके चुनावी भविष्य के बारे में, जीतेंगे या हारेंगे?
नहीं, हम रिजल्ट देखेंगे। अब देखिए, इस समय वो क्या है, हम सब एक फ्रेटर्निटी के हैं, और मन से तो ये निकलता नहीं कि ये कहीं भी हारें, लेकिन चुनाव ऐसा चीज है जहां हम अपनी अपनी पार्टी को जिताते हैं, और छपरा में भी मुझे लगता है कि एनडीए का जीत होगा।
पर उन्होंने तो ये भी कह दिया है कि राम मंदिर बना के क्या फायदा, आपको अस्पताल बनाना चाहिए था, अस्पताल में हिंदू मुस्लिम सिख ईसाई सब जाते, क्या करेंगे राम मंदिर का? मनोज जी,
या देखिए, एक बात मैं राहुल जी और मैम आप दोनों को बताऊं, ये खेसारी से ज्यादा परिचय महागठबंधन का है। वो कल तक खेसारी राम जी का गीत गाता था, आज जैसे ही महागठबंधन में गया वो राम जी के विरुद्ध हो गया। तो हम यही तो बताना चाह रहे हैं कि ये लोग सनातन के शत्रु हैं, महागठबंधन। यहां जाने के बाद आपको वही भाषा बोलनी पड़ेगी जो आप सुन रहे हैं। अरे भाई, राम जी, कृष्ण जी, हमारी आस्था, विरासत, हमारी वैष्णो देवी, हमारे जगन्नाथ धाम, इससे आपको दुश्मनी क्यों हो जाती है महागठबंधन में जाने के बाद?
ठीक है, तो सनातनी है आप, सीता मैया की धरती ने आपको भर भर के वोट दिए हैं। अभी तक जो सामने आंकड़े आ रहे हैं, एक सीता मैया के लिए कुछ तो आप, जो दर्शक इस वक्त आपको देख रहे हैं, कुछ तो सुनाइए, कुछ दिल से सुनाइए आज सीता मैया को समर्पित।
अरे छोटी सी किशोरी मोरे अंगना में खेले रे, दुनिया पूछे नामुआ को सीता सीता बोले रे, सीता सीता बोले रे, धाम पुनौरा माई जानकी का बने रे, सीता जी का मंदिर सारे दुनिया में न्यारो रे, ऐसो बनो प्यारो रे, छोटी सी किशोरी।
बहुत सुंदर। आपको बस राम मंदिर में ध्वजा भी लगने वाली है। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
जब से अमित शाह जी ने हमको,
you know, this is what I love most about the NDTV studio. We've got food, we've obviously got the results, we've got the finest voices, and we've got music also. We had Maithili, now we've got Manoj. I don't know who else is going to sing, but I want to quickly, before we return to all the things that we're looking at right now, on YouTube, by the way, on digital live viewership, NDTV is right on top. The results with NDTV hashtag is the top trend across social media, and we're right up there, completely dominating live viewership all across the country. Complete affirmation of everything that we've been doing in the studio here so far, along with our muscle on the ground there in Patna. So Rahul, huge for NDTV right now. Everyone tuning in at this time, people have been waiting. People have been waiting through the morning to see whether this is going to be a tight fight.
It's almost a landslide as big as the one in Bihar, Shiv.
Insane. This
it's a landslide almost as big as the one in Bihar.
Correct. Bigger actually, but yeah, this is a landslide as well.
And in many ways, NDTV has been the OG of election coverage. So in some ways, these are viewers coming home to watch the coverage which for decades on this network had been the #1 choice for election coverage, and it's really the coming together. So for everyone who's watching, thank you for your trust, thank you for your time. Jayamrig wants to make a point.
The victory a little.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay,
go for it.
Rahul, if we look at the vote shares of the winners in Bihar right from the first poll in 1951, the highest vote shares were by the Congress in those days, 41, 42, 41. Then in the 60s, it slid to the mid-30s. That used to be the vote share of the Congress, though it won. After the coming of the Mandal era, there were always pre-poll coalitions. None of them crossed 40%. This is the first time since independence that in Bihar, a pre-poll coalition is going to touch a vote share of about 48%. It's a first in Bihar, 48% vote share for a pre-poll winning coalition. That's point number one. Point number two, if you look at the final sort of tally of winners of the NDA, 191, if you add about 14 to 15 seats that Prashant Kishore has possibly dented them in, they would actually go to 206, which was their peak in 2010, but with a much lower vote share, 38.
Okay, let me show that to our viewers as I welcome Prabhu Chawla. He's the one who was saying from the first day, ये PK TV पे ही है, इसका कोई impact नहीं है, with all his years of political experience, that coming to be true.
This is the number I was referring to. Yeah.
So PK is damaging prospects of candidates of established parties on 28 seats. 16 of those are being led by the NDA, 11 by the Gathbandhan. So on 28 seats, his candidate currently has votes which are more than the gap between the winner and the runner-up. Prabhu Chawla, so you can smile and say, मैंने तो आपको पहले ही बता दिया था ये.
We आपको मैंने पहले, I let you go back because you want to keep Prashant relevant in the system. Therefore, you have to talk about him. I told you in the beginning that he is like a balloon. He has been put up there, it will reflect. Now you want to justify because of him, so many seats have been lost. Even if they have not been lost, the NDA would have got anyway, they are going to 200 seats. And your earlier projection was, if Prashant Kumar gets 10% seats, party NDA will get 190. He has not got 10% votes yet. So their whole calculations were based on conjectures that we have to somehow show some Prashant Kumar irrelevant, Prashant Kishore irrelevant. But I feel the Prashant Kishore was just a media balloon. He did not impact anybody. It was a clean sweep for both Narendra Modi and Nitish Kumar. Nitish Kumar number 1 and Modi number 2. Therefore, Prashant Kishore discussing any, for example, VIP party, vanished, left, vanished. All the other parties have vanished. It is a total polarization. Muslim Yadav on one side and rest of Bihar on the other side. That's a total complete polarization.
No, that's true, because Prashant Kishore's party just has 3.6% of the votes that have been counted so far. That's a very, very low base. The RJD has the maximum votes, but that's also because they fought many more seats than the BJP and the JDU. BJP at this moment has 22.8% of the votes counted. Janata Dal United at 18.9. I want to take you through some of what the NDTV leaderboard has, the kind of insights you won't see anywhere. I want to look right now at the Yadav dominated seats of Bihar. Of the 126 seats classified as being Yadav dominated, meaning that the Yadavs have more than 15% of the electorate here, the NDA is leading on 73.8. So what you've seen essentially, ladies and gentlemen, is massive counter consolidation by the non-Yadavs. Also, if I look at the Muslim plus Yadav seats, this is where really the RJD should be winning everything there is to win. Here too, of the 84 such seats, the NDA has a strike rate of 83.3. So when there is consolidation, Ashok Malik, there is counter consolidation as well, and that is what is leading to the NDA getting this phenomenally high tally.
That remains Tejashwi's Achilles heel. He has not been able to move beyond Muslim Yadav, and while the BJP has complimented Nitish by bringing in especially upper caste voters and some OBC voters, the fact is the Congress is adding nothing to Tejashwi's tally in terms of vote share, in terms of big communities.
You know, even if you look at the allies, Rahul, they really seem to be carrying their weight this time around. LJP is leading on 22 of the 29 seats that is contesting. Hindustan Awam Morcha is leading on 4 out of the 6 seats that are contesting. So not just the JDU, BJP, even their smaller allies are actually pulling their weight.
You know, I want to go across to Chandan. He's at the Janata Dal United office as I show you what's happening on the bellwether seats of Bihar. Bellwether seats are those seats that typically tend to go with the winner, and now almost all the bellwether seats are going with the NDA, from Munger to Sakra, Kyoti, Saharsa, Raniganj, Khajoli, all these except for Sitamarhi, the others leaning with the NDA. So the bellwether seats know exactly what's happening. Let's see what's happening at the Ulta bellwether seats. Ulta bellwether is frankly something which has been an NDTV construct for a long time. We didn't come up with this. It's been part of the legacy of NDTV. The Ulta bellwether is wherever these seats go, the opposite guy wins. So in Ramgarh, the BSP is winning. So Bhabua will no longer be a Ulta bellwether seat. Let's go to Chandan. Chandan is a JDU office. Lots of color, lots of festivity, getting set for a phenomenal victory. He won this big in 2010. Nitish Kumar, the people of Bihar saying Tiger abhi zinda hai.
Absolutely, Rahul, and you see how JDU supporters here right. क्या कहेंगे सर, ये जो परिणाम आ रहे हैं, ये जो रुझान परिणाम में बदल रहे हैं, क्या कहेंगे?
ये परिणाम तो मालूम था पहले से एनडीए पक्ष में होना ही।
टाइगर अभी बिल्कुल टाइगर अभी जिंदा है, बिल्कुल जिंदा है। तब तो सुशासन की सरकार कहलाता है, तब तो सुशासन की सरकार है। टाइगर अभी जिंदा है और एनडीए के नेतृत्व में फिर से बहुमत जनता जनार्दन देकर के साबित कर दिया है कि विकास मुख्यमंत्री नीतीश होंगे या बीजेपी का माननीय मुख्यमंत्री कुमार, इसलिए माननीय मुख्यमंत्री ही उनको जनादेश मिला है, इसलिए वही पर नीतीश जी के नाम का शंखनाद करेंगे। बिल्कुल बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, एनडीए नीतीश जी, मोदी जी, सभी के नाम पे बिल्कुल। जिंदाबाद जिंदाबाद। So you see, Rahul, how energetic the atmosphere right now is at JDU office, and everywhere you see JDU workers with flag Nitish Kumar is the buzz of whole Patna, not just Patna, Bihar right now, and new posters of Nitish Kumar are right now being installed outside the JDU office, and the whole atmosphere is just about the celebration that has begun. Moments from now onwards, senior party leaders will start to
You know, and there is just a small nugget before we go across to Brijesh Kalappa of the Congress and Aparajita Sarangi, Member of Parliament of the BJP. In the Simanchal area, the seats that had been won last time around by the AIMIM, right now it has leads in only 2 of those seats, and guess who is leading in the remaining 3? It is the JDU. So the Muslim vote, which over time had gone away from the JDU, last time all of their 11 candidates lost. This time they put up only 4 candidates and they are taking those seats away from the AIMIM. So there's reason for cheer, and that's what we said about the larger story at play over there.
We'll show you what's happening in all the other party offices as well. As Padmaja and my colleagues were saying earlier, they're all very close together. So if the Dholwalas were in one section, they just need to hop across the road to the other. In this case, they are stationed permanently there at the JDU office. Obviously, we'll take you to the offices in Delhi also in a short while, but Aparajita Sarangi of the BJP, Brijesh Kalappa of the Congress are here with us. Brijesh, first thoughts on this. Your party has come out aggressively pointing fingers at vote chori, SIR. Is there going to be any introspection at all? You know, the Jan Nayak campaign was one of the big high visibility things about the Congress's campaign. Nobody knows where Rahul Gandhi is right now. Is the Congress going to take any responsibility?
The Congress party has always behaved responsibly, and we have governed this country for several years after independence. So I think as far as the Congress party is concerned, we have always behaved responsibly. And I wish the Election Commission had behaved responsibly, just as the Congress party had made certain allegations. And I think these allegations ought to have been taken seriously. And particularly the SIR process, which deleted nearly 65 lakh voters. And how many of them have actually been able to reinstate themselves? Because till the last minute, the Election Commission decided that we were not going to consider Aadhaar. Aadhaar was going to be considered for every single thing in government, but not for being considered.
Tejashwi is trailing in Raghopur. This is an incredible a flash that we've got on our screen right now. Really an indicator of the scale of this this result from Bihar. Tejashwi Yadav, the big hope of the Mahagathbandhan, the face, the Chief Minister's face.
And the interesting story there is that Raghopur and Mahua are also symbolic of the infighting within the Yadav family, because you had Tej Pratap Yadav put up a candidate against Tejashwi Yadav, go and campaign against his brother in Raghopur, and the favor was returned by Tejashwi as well. Actually, Tejashwi first went to Mahua, campaigned against Tej Pratap, and then Tej Pratap returned the favor. And according to what the leads we have right now, the BJP candidate is leading. Interesting story. This man has actually won in the same seat 10 years ago, but he had defeated Rabri Devi at that time. This time he's again been fielded by the BJP, and Tejashwi Yadav for now is trailing. So these are all of this cannot just be put down to SIR. Yeah. Clearly there is a greater discontentment, or there is a bigger story. What do you think that story is, Aparajita Sarangi?
ठीक है ये मेरे पैर से लगके टूटेगा निश्चित रूप से.
Good morning. I think NDA is heading towards winning the election with thumping majority, and the trailer shows what the film would be like. And this is unprecedented. In fact, we had also not thought that the winning would be so very good. But I can only say that this is the collective win of the Panch Pandavas. We are all working together in the NDA, the partners, and this is a collective victory. I reiterate, the governance model of Prime Minister Modi and coupled with the Susashan of Sri Nitish Kumar ji have enabled us to actually, go for these kinds of numbers. And let me tell you that the people of Bihar have acted very responsibly, very maturely, and that is why they have gone for the good governance of both the leaders at the center and the state level.
But Brijesh Kalappa is saying that the EC hasn't acted responsibly.
Prime Minister
Aparajita Sarangi, the concerns of the opposition weren't taken on board. The EC is the one who should be held to account.
Yes. See, unfortunately, Rahul Gandhi ji has been rejected again. I mean, this is, I think, I would say, again and again the same thing is happening, and I was listening to the Congress spokesperson, and really, you know, it's pathetic when we listen to them. They'll delve into the past, they derive happiness from the past. But Bharatiya Janata Party and the NDA, we are political parties who live in the present and who thinks about the future. So I think Congress is a thing of the past.
Okay, we'll just get Brijesh Kalappa a moment to respond before we go across to Vasudha, my colleague, joining us from Patna as well. Brijesh Kalappa, 30 seconds, please.
But vote chori.
Yeah, so I was just completing my thought, Padmaja. I was only merely saying that as far as the SIR exercise is concerned, and the Supreme Court final order which permitted the Aadhaar to be used as one of the parameters for a voter to be inducted into the list, I think we have now to find out how many of these 65 lakh deletions have actually been able to make it back to the list, and there I think the story actually lies.
Let's go to Vasudha, our political editor. She's at the Patna office of the BJP. Vasudha, we were with Chandan for a moment ago, where he was washed away by an ocean of JDU supporters and conch blowers. What's the scene at the BJP office? Are people still collecting there at this point of time? Huge win for the NDA.
Well, that's right. Shiv, people have started collecting here. In fact, MOS of Home, Nityanand Rai, who's also a senior leader of the BJP, has already arrived. Deepak Prakash, who's the co-prabhari, who's from Jharkhand, has arrived. And, let me just show you what kind of preparations are going on. Well, there have been some sense of, mithai is being made, but this is the setup that they have for people who are expected to come. And we've been told that in about an hour from now, there will be more people expected. This kind of victory is something that the BJP was expecting, because a lot of sections in the BJP did believe that there is a wave for Modi-Nitish factor. In fact, it all started with the Prime Minister saying that people of Bihar have two brothers, Nitish and Narendra Modi. So clearly, the BJP did work towards, pulling the entire coalition and alliance up. अच्छा, ये BJP की जो जीत हुई है, आपको क्या लग रहा है?
ये पूरा बिहार जनता का जीत है, जो जनता ने सोचा था कि यहाँ फिर से रामराज होना मांगता है। जो 2005 में सभी लोग बिहार की जनता ने देखा था कि रावण राज चल रहा था, वो नहीं मांगता था, गुंडा राज नहीं मांगता था। फिर से यहाँ महिला वर्ग जो 6 बजे के बाहर जाने का वो मांगता था, और प्लस डेवलपमेंट जो मोदी।
So clearly the M5 factor is something that they're talking about. Let me also show you some visuals here, and they're all most keenly watching they're mostly keenly watching Raghopur's mandate, because a lot of them are tracking his his election performance, and there's been this news that he could be trailing, so that is something that's adding to their pressure. But of course, 180 up, early trends. Clearly, this is a victory that really needs to be studied.
These figures are way beyond what even
happened in Maharashtra.
Home Minister Amit Shah had said to Rahul at the Bihar power play. So this is very interesting to see. As far as those numbers, the scant attendance at the BJP office, I'm going to interpret that as people not believing what these numbers are, and they've all perhaps run to check what the reality is.
That's because of the Delhi blast. So there had been advised caution and not over the top celebrations because of the mood after the Delhi blast.
Right. But I want to play out for you, because the Prime Minister in many of his rallies in Bihar had made it a point to specifically talk about the kind of landslide victory that we're now seeing play out on your screen right now. Just a reminder of what the Prime Minister said.
एनडीए की अब तक की सबसे बड़ी विजय इस चुनाव में पक्की है दोस्तों। 14 तारीख के बाद आपको मैं कह रहा हूं विजय उत्सव की तैयारी कर लीजिए।
Brijesh Kalappa in for one little question on Rahul Gandhi, because Brijesh, everybody's been talking about how Rahul Gandhi hasn't really put very much into Bihar, but the truth is he did. I mean, he had the vote adhikar yatra, the motorcycle yatra, there was a lot of vote chori stuff pertaining to Bihar. There was a suggestion from the Congress, this aggressive confidence that vote chori had a lot of resonance in Bihar. Completely none of that has happened. None of that is reflected at all in these numbers.
Yeah, I think that once the final figures come, we'll be able to give you a better analysis of it. But I've already stated the Congress's position, and the Congress's position is an oft-repeated position. We have done 3 press conferences with regard to vote chori, And I think it's now time for the election commission, because not for the BJP. Because if the BJP has also made similar allegations of vote chori, it was Mr. Anurag Thakur who came and said that, look, there is vote chori here and so on and so forth. Why did they not join us? That is the question which is foremost on people's minds. That if you're also alleging that there is vote chori, then join us. Let's cleanse the system. You don't want to stand on the side of the Congress party, which is seeking to cleanse the system. But you're standing on the side of the election commission where we say that there are certain failings. Then there is something more than meets the eye.
The only real contest at this time is whether the BJP or the JDU has a better strike rate at the end. That's really the only contest. According to the latest figures from the NDTV election leaderboard, the BJP at this moment is winning on 82.2% of the seats where they've put up candidates. Nitish's party is leading on 79.2%. That's where there's contest, 82 versus 79. RJD is leading only on 24% of the seats where they put up candidates. Congress's strike rate is a measly 8%. AIMIM has a 10% strike rate. Jan Swaraj is Shunya Bata Sanata at this moment, leading on none of the seats. So their strike rate is 0. Prabhu Chawla 82 versus 78. Also the fact that this is a chief minister who isn't at the peak of his career. You know, you've got a chief minister who has issues about his health. Despite that, the voters of Bihar have given him a thumping mandate. Big victory for the NDA this.
If you go empirically, it is a record of sides in terms of politics. He is the chief minister who is going to be sworn in 10th time after changing parties also. He is the chief minister in terms of Bihar performance and economic indicator is much Bihar behind the rest of the country. Even when people think that he is the best chief minister, he has voted for it. So it means personality of the person is untainted. That's a great qualification about him. And during the last 25 days, if you look at, he had addressed 188 public rallies. He was sick, he was supposed to be sick. 188 public rallies and addressed about 66,000 hours of rallies. So he really worked hard and made it a very personal issue.
But it's very different from the Nitish of the past. He's reading from a script. He's no longer interacting as freely as he would. So it's a very changed circumstance. That's a reality.
They have accepted the personality of Nitish Kumar.
It's the brand.
We have become the symbol of Bihar. Because look at Simhanchal. I was asking in the same question. Simhanchal where 24 seats are there. Out of those 20 NDA is getting, and out of those 20 BJP is getting 16. It means total polarization that is happening. So it was the Nitish Kumar who was able to pull the entire rest of Bihar from Muslim the way.
Amitabh Tiwari, you did that poll for Vote Vibe. This is much bigger a victory than most of the polls had predicted. What happened between your poll and actual counting day?
See what happens जब वोट पड़ता है तो पड़ता ही है. We've seen this in Maharashtra. I mean Maharashtra also, most of us were saying 165 to 180. It came down to 234, which means that there is a significant surge in Mahila support for the NDA, and that lead itself seems to be now 20-30% amongst Mahila for NDA vis-a-vis the Mahagathbandhan. One interesting number to look at is that BJP or JDU is more than the entire Mahagathbandhan put together. Just one of the parties is more than the Mahagathbandhan put together, which shows the scale of this victory.
Well, let me show that to our viewers. The NDA is at 193. The entire Gathbandhan together is at 46. So if I split this up for parties, the BJP at 84, the JDU at 79, the Congress at 7, the RJD at 33. Together they are 40. So basically, you're absolutely right. The Gathbandhan together as a formation is lesser than the BJP and the JDU fighting separately, Amitabh.
Yeah, which means that, of course, we had doubts that the vice captain of Mahagathbandhan, which is the Congress party, will not be able to perform. Here, the captain itself is not performing. The captain has not.
Why do you think the captain has failed to perform?
The captain has failed to perform because probably 2 months of the entire campaign were wasted on a SIR or a vote chori campaign, not raising the real issues on the ground, which was unemployment, and then in the end making some promises which were really not credible, giving a sarkari job to all the 2.5 crore people of Bihar. I mean, the young of Bihar are educated. They understand the semantics, the difference between semantics and rhetoric.
Okay, I have the 2020 vote share percentages. At that time, Janata Dal United stood at 22.6. They fought many more seats. They won 115. This time their vote share is at 18.4. the BJP had a 16.5% vote share. 2010 is important because that's when the NDA had its best performance so far. At that time, the BJP was 16.5, now it's 22.4. The RJD in that election was 18.8. It's currently at 23.7. So the RJD is better even in defeat. The Congress at 4%, now it's at 8%. So
now
that's
I want
the difference.
To put that vote share story in a larger perspective.
Yes, please.
See, we start with the first election when Lalu actually lost. In the sense, Bihar went into a hung assembly, which is February 2005. At that point of time, the NDA's vote share was 25%. In the 2005 October election, after Mr. KJ Rao steps in, the NDA's vote share goes up to 36, 2010 38, 2015, as Rahul rightly pointed out, is some sort of a misalignment. 2010, this adjusted alliance in 2015, in 2020 is 43, and now we are at 48. It has doubled its vote share in 21 years. That's the story.
And the others are below 20%
for the first
time in the history of Bihar. Celebrations in the JDU office.